Virginia? Hello?
Hey, I'm here.
Hi, Virginia. How are you?
Well, that will depend on you, I guess. I mean, looking at a 662% increase on my property that I can't even barely give away. So
Well,
let's get the meeting started.
I'll let you go ahead and make your presentation, Virginia, and then we'll ask any questions we have. And then after we're done, we've got 2 more Zoom calls after yours this afternoon. But after we finish up, then we will deliberate on each case and then send you a letter in 2 to 3 weeks' time of our decision. So it looks like your,
Okay.
looks like land value went from 87.5 to 622.1.
Yeah. And I've been trying to sell this 19 acres for like 10 years.
Right.
And, I started out at 250,000, I'm down to 150,000, and I still have no offers on it. So your assessment that it's worth 662,000 is totally off base. I wish it was worth that. I wish I could get that, but nothing.
Sure.
No offers, nothing. So I don't know how you could assess it at that price. And I sent in some documentation of, how, and I'm a real estate broker, 40 plus years. So I've done everything I can to try and get this sold
Yeah, we
at
do.
this price.
We do have your information. Thanks for sending that, including your previous MLS sheets and what you've got on the market for now and the wetland delineation and the plat. I do remember this property. It's got a lot of ravines in it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure does. It has maybe 10 acres that could be developed on it.
Okay.
And that's if you could get the 40-foot wide easement into the property off of Christopher Drive. And then you'd have to bring in a, sewer and water to it. So I just don't, if it had sewer and water and a 40-foot easement that could allow for development, maybe it might be worth that. But
Gotcha.
right now, I don't see it.
Right. Anybody on the board have any questions?
No, just, going from 4,500 an acre to 40,000 an acre, I can't imagine I know there's certainly been more commercial property selling in recent years than previously, but I can't imagine what would have occurred for him to decide to go through and make every single commercial property 40,000 an acre for every single acre that they have. So certainly it's not market value, so that's an easy one. We'll just have to figure out where to make the adjustment and
Yeah. Yeah.
what to look at.
Maybe if it had road frontage on Main Street, it might be worth 40,000 an acre, but it doesn't, and,
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'd appreciate your help in adjusting this back to reality.
RJ, Ms. Davis, y'all have any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Neil, anything more from you? Well, Virginia, I appreciate it, and I appreciate your information you provided us. That will be helpful. I think there's no question that the new $40,000 an acre assessment is definitely not market. So we will take all this into consideration and check on a few more commercial lots around the area to see where this disparity came from. But we will send you out a letter in 2 to 3 weeks' time with our decision. But I think we definitely will be taking some action here to get this thing more in line with reality. So
I appreciate it, I really do, because, you know, I'd like to get it sold, and maybe somebody would develop it. And then you could get your tax revenue and then your 40,000 an acre once it's been developed. But right now, I don't see it.
Sure, sure.
What is our accent price?
150?
Okay,
150,000.
Yeah,
okay,
big difference from 622.1.
yeah.
Believe me, yeah, I'd like to get 622.1, but
Right,
not market right now.
right, right.
So
All right.
thank you guys for
Virginia, thank you.
looking at
Yep.
reviewing it.
Tell the family we said hello.
You're welcome. All right, you say, do the same.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bless you.
Thank you.
I feel like this might be something similar to the marina situation last time, just to have gone through for the entire county and made every single commercial property $40,000 an acre, no matter how many acres, maybe $40,000 for the first acre.
We need to look at
Where
the
you'd-
property Jones sold, right there on James B. Jones, where the new, whatever they are being built. They're taking forever to be
Oh,
built.
yeah, the,
Yeah,
Lee Sells
Yeah.
property, yeah.
But even, is that commercial or is that residential, like R2?
I don't know, but I mean, you have frontage on James B. Jones, just like hers, so.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking, okay,
Yeah.
that's similar.
It is.
So we gotta look at the zoning for sure.
I mean, if that number is coming from some tract of land that somebody bought to do a
Right.
development at, that's still a way different,
Crazy.
Yeah.
600.
way a different,
Yeah.
I mean, most of that land is
You
all just
know.
like this.
Oh, yeah.
and so there should be about
And
9
she-
acres,
she
that's
has
some
been trying
sort
to
of
sell it for
wetland. Oh, yeah, no, that's.
forever.
From a market value, that's an easy one, just
Yeah.
because it's, but I mean, even like David Jones is at 40,000 an acre across from the auto clinic. Guess he didn't have as many acres, so it didn't seem as,
Right.
but I mean, it's just a massive
Yeah.
Big difference.
change in how you look at
Yeah.
it, so it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to know.
All right,
I don't know if you need to ask him, like, what the data was that caused him to go 40,000 an
Right.
acre, but. I think it said in our handbook, we're not supposed to necessarily redo entire classes of properties. Goodness. I think you typed in Katie.
Oh, I did, didn't I? 4037. Oh, this is the one he's bought.
Did you have a chance, David, did you show Sandra's new listing on Orchard Point or whatever in Weems that you just put up for 750?
Yeah. I didn't, Kay showed it yesterday.
Okay, I know they've got, I mean, it's just, I mean,
We
most of the
wrote-
stuff,
We wrote a contract on it, and she just told me we didn't get it.
okay, yeah, no, there was, we had somebody. who was
Escalations and
supposed to come.
escalations and escalations, like, oh,
I mean, that's listed way above the assessed value, that's what's kind of crazy, like, almost everything that's on the market is listed above the assessed value.
Yep.
And then everybody that's coming in is, wants it to be lowered, but.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's what it seems to be the quirks, like the stuff that's going way above is the stuff with big views. And then the stuff that is back a bit or like really big houses or really little houses do seem kind of overvalued, but, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know how you take all of that into account. I mean, it is really hard to do every single property in the entire county.
Yeah.
When every single property is so different. I think I had like 4 people ask me about that, and one of the things I sent them was, Brett, you had the one on an Indian, another, yours on Cardinal Lane, that was about the same size, that took a little bit to sell, and then the one on Indian Creek, of course, they're not Lancaster County, but, how do you treat all of those
So that's where they have the
when they're
common.
waterfront, about the same size?
It must be.
Yeah. It's-
I don't know.
I'm,
Is that where they have, is that spot where they have the carnival?
Sure.
In Gilmore? This-
The land?
Yes,
No, it's actually, you know where the car wash cafe is in Kilmarnock?
yes,
There's a little road right there. On the other side of that little road is Northern Neck Generator.
yes.
If you go straight back down that road, there was an old house, which was Mr. Rice's house, and this land goes beside that all the way back to James Jones Memorial Highway. That's where it is.
That's where the land
Through the woods.
is. Yep.
You see his note where he would have valued it at 50,000 an acre,
But-
except for the adjustment for topography.
Which, was that on the last one,
On
Henry?
the new card? Under the site, he's got some notes down there.
We have price land here.
Which interestingly, it looks like he,
You see it
On his field card?
but how do you
right
distinguish?
here.
Oh, okay.
He got it.
Some low and wet, whatever price, land at 50,000 acre, but just for topo. I think it's way off.
Yeah.
So what's the best course of action? Do you designate on a certain amount as the high-value lot, commercial lot, and then the rest residual, like we did on?
Maybe for Brent, you
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or do you just
But see,
go back to?
See, really here though, there's no
It's not as distinct.
real like main frontage, there's no like
Right.
office area, that's just all,
So do you just reduce the value back down somewhere around the $4,500 to
That's what I would
$5,000
say,
range across the board?
yeah.
do we need to look at other commercial, I mean, what you were saying, we'll look at that
No.
property.
But I mean, at least, you know.
I mean, what it looks like is it's gonna be like, from an equalization standpoint, he's put this 40,000 an acre or 50,000 an acre on a whole bunch of commercial land.
Right.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other ones are. And interesting that, I mean, she did the rezoning in 2006, so when they did the assessment and, there's things, there's a lot of land out there that's zoned commercial that, I mean, yeah, I guess if the 1 in 1,000 chance that Home Depot or a fast food restaurant or Ryan Homes wants it, that they're
Right.
willing to pay
Right.
that price, but for 99% of it, it's gonna be really hard to sell.
Exactly.
So it's kind of interesting that the last guy just had it as open land.
So what property are we looking at?
To compare it to.
Yes.
Gosh, it'd be right in the bend of the road of the bypass, kind of right between, I guess it's right that where their building is right between Cox Farm and Black Stump.
Yep.
Probably that 23-114.
There it is.
Yeah.
What? But that's probably zoned R2.
Yeah, and it may be A2, I don't know.
Yeah.
Go up to your, there you go.
But to me, that land is a lot more valuable
it's-
than,
Town of
Town
Kilmarnock
zoning.
zoning.
That's crazy.
yeah, the town goes all the way out to, is that what, that's what, was Virginia shown as town zoning as well?
No, she's county.
We went
I
crazy.
think.
No, I don't think you had clicked the zoning district yet.
Oh, she
Yeah.
is
Also-
town of Kilmarnock, yep,
So they're both commercial.
yep.
Well, no,
Well,
but my.
it could be whatever the
It could be
town
whatever,
has,
yeah.
so.
I'll see if I can pull up the town zoning map.
But, I mean, I know it's showing she's got frontage on James B. Jones, but the topography of that land, how in the world?
Well, this property is a whole lot more frontage.
Right.
It's
And it's
only
flat and clear.
32.5.
It's a lot more
Exactly.
valuable than.
32,500? Yeah. That's probably 3,000 an acre.
Yeah, but part of that's being tilled, isn't it?
It was at
It
one
was. I'm
time.
not sure
Was
what
all
they're doing
clear
now
now.
that they're
They got-
building.
Oh, they've taken that whole thing?
Yeah.
They got townhouse, apartments on it now.
Okay.
That's another one that's really similar to, well, not as sensitive as an area, but kind of, I mean, that was all approved for a development in 2009 or 8 or whenever, and then nobody ever did it because of what the
Right.
market did. But they didn't really have to do anything to start building. It had all just been sitting there approved and fallow for 20 years.
So why
Maybe not quite
don't we
finished.
take hers back to what it was? $4,500 an acre. I mean, we've got pretty substantial proof this property's right almost beside it,
Yeah.
with a lot more frontage at 32.5.
Yep, that seems,
Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Crystal, for Virginia Henry, 23-85, we're taking the price per acre from 40,000 down to 4,500. Yes. We're just waiting on Mr. Jones then. Okay. Good deal. We got Virginia. You want to do Heather, tally real quick? The first one? While we wait?
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
3 minutes, but remember Heather tally, that was the very first one today?
That, the one in Ottoman,
Yeah.
that was in shambles?
just,
Here to go.
for comparison, the one is zoned residential. But, you know,
Well, that's
Zoning
that's
doesn't make-
3,000 a foot.
yeah,
Ready?
and this is a bit more.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
heck yeah.
He just was in there, just walking.
40-37. Okay. You good? Glenn? Okay. Mr. Jones?
Yes, can you hear me?
Mr. Jones?
Yes,
Yes, sir, we can hear you. How you doing today?
very nice.
Good.
taking the time out of your busy schedules to talk to me.
Absolutely. Well, what I'm going to do is turn the floor over to you. We've got your tax map parcel pulled up on our screens in front of us. We've got the tax card in front of us from the current and the previous. So I'll turn it over to you, and then when you're finished, there may be some questions that we have. And then after that, after we finish with our hearings today, we're going to deliberate case by case and then notify you in writing by mail within 2 to 3 weeks' time of our decision.
Okay, that
So
seems reasonable.
So I'll go ahead and turn the floor over to you, Mr. Jones.
Okay. First of all, my name's Howard Jones. You may see on my screen, it says Tony. That's my nickname. And I've been going by that name all my life. So if you hear that or hear me refer to that, that's me as well.
Okay.
But today, my purpose of having a meeting with you is because of the property, a parcel of land that I purchased back a few months ago. And upon further examination, it doesn't appear that this property is able to be developed. So I really purchased it because just wanting something close to the water. It's always been a dream of mine. And I'm in a position where I'm able to afford this parcel. I mean, I can't afford everybody else's, but I can afford this one. And so we ended up purchasing this property a few months ago for the sales price of $19,500. And I think that the assessment on this property is way overvalued. And, you know, the person prior to me, what they paid is their business. But, you know, I have a family to care for, so we have to pinch every dime and dollar we can. So from my understanding, real estate is only worth what someone else is willing to pay. And if you think you can find somebody that pay me at least $60,000, $70,000 for this parcel of land, I'm willing to listen. So that's where I stand, and I'm hoping you guys see the same thing that I see.
Okay. So it looks like from the previous tax year, the land value did not change. That remained the same. And your improvements went up. Since you just bought it, you said several months ago?
3 months ago,
Okay.
3 to 4 months ago. So I don't even think that it's been online, it's been transferred into my name yet.
It has, and we're looking at it right now.
Okay, so the previous owner is Mr. Lockerman,
Right.
and he's from Plano, Texas, I guess.
Yes,
I never
sir.
met him. It went on the market, so everybody had an opportunity to purchase this property just like I did.
Okay. And there's a pier on the property?
Yes, there is it's in bad shape.
Okay.
Yes, bad shape. If you go, I wouldn't walk on it if I were you.
Okay.
And you said that the property is not able to be developed?
No, it's all wetlands. It's all, if you go out and take a look at it, especially at high tide, the water comes all the way up from the little bay area back there, all the way up to the street. And to get to the pier, you better have on at least close to knee-high boots in order to get to the pier. And that's at any time. That's 24/7. So it's just something that I purchased really to have a place to maybe at one day go fishing.
Gotcha.
With me and my nephew.
And then from the development standpoint, was it the county? Is this that piece of property that somebody bought and then the county actually had a meeting about it? Because typically if you have a piece of property, you can, you know, just, because there is some property out there that's sort of just assessed as, like, if it, down, Bald Eagle, where the property owner had a problem with that piece of property. And I know last time we were doing this, we saw a few that were like that. Like, if the property really doesn't perk, then I would think it wouldn't really have a home site value.
Right,
That we've seen some properties that are essentially valued as either wetlands or,
right.
Wasteland or marsh.
and then, you know, the fact that it was, we're only supposed to sort of consider data from the time period when the assessment was going on. Do you know, but you purchased it in 2024? But the
Yeah,
property was
I
on the
think so. I
market in
think it was-
2023?
I think it was on the market in 2023. I think I purchased it in January of 2024.
So you're
I
probably,
I don't have the deed in front of me, but I can go get it, and then I can give you the exact date. But it's a recent purchase.
okay.
What even shows on the tax card, no perk letter.
Is that the most recent?
Yeah, on the bottom left-hand side.
March of '08.
I mean, I think if you can't, you have to look at some other properties and probably ask either Marlon or Beth how that gets classified. But I know we've seen some other properties where you can't get a septic in and can't build a house, and they end up with a
Even
different,
with the Reynolds property yesterday, there had not been a perk test, so there was not a letter, and we removed that home site because of that. Now, if this one
It says no home site.
can't get it,
Yeah.
then I don't see why we can't do the same thing.
I agree, yeah. Anybody have any more questions for Mr. Jones?
nope, I think there'll be something, a couple of things we can look at. Certainly, I think the purchase price, I mean, if it was on the market in 2023 and available for anybody to purchase, that's also gets to that market value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of it pretty clearly, and the data, I think, goes back to the time period when the assessment was going on, so.
Well, Mr. Jones, I appreciate you coming before us and the information you've shared with us. We do feel like we've got enough information now to render a decision and make an adjustment here for you. I think we're all in agreement that the new value doesn't seem to be in line with market. So again, we'll go ahead and deliberate this afternoon and then notify you by mail in 2 to 3 weeks' time.
Thank you very much. I truly appreciate this.
All right,
And,
buddy. Have a great weekend.
Look forward to coming out to Whitestone. I'm from Williamsburg, so
That sounds
don't
great.
don't get out to Whitestone much, but it's a beautiful place, so
Yes,
that's why
sir.
we bought it.
All right,
see you
well,
around.
Beautiful place.
have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care.
Bye-bye.
I think perhaps we should look at something else that's comparable to that. That just struck me that we took that off of Tony's yesterday,
Sure did.
just because the letter, I mean, they haven't had a test done, even though it may be perkable.
Right.
We took that site off,
Yep.
so.
I might run it by Beth or Marlon, just because if you do, you call it all residual at 9,000 an acre, that gets you to $20,000, which is the
then we
the
can hit the
purchase price. I
pier.
don't know if we need to look it up on.
Shed on there?
Hit the pier some more.
They didn't have any
Is the
value.
It said
shed?
no value, so I don't know if there's one on there or not.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, sure. All right.
Is he coming in?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, do we want to check with Beth real quick for that question? Sure, thank
Yeah.
you. And then we can go ahead and take action on this one.
She goes to late
You know
lunch,
which,
so run into
which
dinner, I guess.
piece of land I'm talking about? There was one down Normal Point Road where, like, I thought it was kind of strange. Because typically, always thought if you had a piece of land, you could do something there regardless of the Bay Act. But it was actually the Board of Supervisors that ended up like voting on whether or not they would allow it to be developed, and the Board of Supervisors said no.
The whole thing
Yeah, what's
on
the
high
purpose?
tide, I don't know.
See if I can-
He wanted somewhere to go fishing.
Look it up.
Well, you gotta get on some ground.
I know, it's odd that that whole piece floods like that, but
Yeah, will someone take them, someone get a tow truck, a towboat to carry them to the
Yeah.
spot?
he tie his boat to the mailbox.
I don't know how you gonna get there all that way.
All right, let's check with Beth real quick on this one question. Beth, if we've got this parcel here, unbuildable, will not perk, but home site valued at $50,000 and residual at $9,000 an acre, what do we do if we know for a fact it won't perk? It's unbuildable.
You can adjust all of it. All I have to
Completely
do is-
remove the home site value?
Well, if it's not buildable, it's not gonna have an inside.
Right.
In the past, what we would have done, we used to have it. But if it's at $50,000, it still seems unfair to assess them for $25,000 for a lot that they can't.
They can't do anything with. Nope, all they have a pier on, that's it.
And that's,
Okay.
yeah.
There's some properties out there that are done that way, right, where they can't.
Thank you.
It's just like all the land is just valued at a
Especially
flat.
down- Yeah.
Yeah.
Down by Mill.
They're not as, they're fewer and far between now because you can do mail systems and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, but the only thing it's good for is the pier it sits on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
That's easy enough.
That's what we thought, good. All right, let's go to Mr. Emery. 26B-1-3. All right, up Queenstown Road area, right here.
Oh,
You'll see it right here. Here's Queenstown Road, I guess that's 54.
Down M-Law? Oh, Smith. Okay.
Town Creek LLP. All right, you all ready? Okay, Glenn, we're ready. Mr. Emery? Mr. Emery? Is he muted?
Mr. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, sir. How you doing?
Excellent. Listen, I just want to tell you what amazing staff there are at Lancaster, like Glenn Rowe. I didn't know how to share a screen, and Glenn helped me with that. Crystal's been helping me. Beth from the commissioner's office has just been amazing, and I just wanted to relate that. Deeply appreciate their competence and quality, and also you guys for doing this incredibly tough job.
Well, we appreciate that, and I know they appreciate that, because without them, we couldn't do any of this, so thank you for
Yeah,
that.
they are totally amazing. So You know, I was trying to get Crystal not to print up my thing because you have to cut down a lot of trees. But it's sort of a script, and I'd love to talk a little bit otherwise, but if I go extemporaneous, I'll get way off the subject. So I'm just going to start, if that's okay.
Sure.
You know, my family's from the Eastern Shore. I grew up on the south side of Richmond, but, I forgot my screen. See, I'm already forgetting. So Glenn, can you let me share the screen? Is Glenn around?
Yeah, Glenn's right here.
Oh, there we go, share screen.
Should be good to go, he
So you
said.
always forget. Share, excellent, share.
There we go,
So-
we got you.
So, you know, my family is from the Eastern Shore, and I grew up on the south side of Richmond, but always wanted to get back to the Tidewater. So, you know, I started looking for a place in the 1970s. I had a kayak and a John boat, and I'd get on the water and investigate. I checked out the James from Richmond to Newport News, checked out the York from Aylet to Gloucester Point, checked out the Tank, and finally found a place that the Indians liked the best, the South Shore of the Northern Neck. Uh-oh, why is this not working right? Come on, go, yeah. I can do this. I was shopping for beauty and for price. The remote location of our home, 343 Smith Lane, lowered the purchase price. The owner of the home's listed in your documents as Town Creek LLP. It's always sort of scary when you see one of those things, but the LLP is me and my daughters, Emma and Helen. So this is a photo of the house 20 years before I bought it. You can see it inside that little red circle. It was built by Bernard Kieser, who used to run the gas station in Ottoman. It was his fishing place. And in the foreground, of course, is Callis's Oyster House, which at the time was, it was zoned R1 when zoning came along. You know, 343 Smith Lane is at the end of the road, at the edge of the world, on a spit of land on a peninsula of the Northern Neck, on another peninsula formed by the Coratoman and Rappahannock. 343 Smith Lane is a half hour from the grocery store. The main thing to recommend it, or the main things to recommend are the sun, the moon, the stars, the wildlife, the water, and the quiet. You know, I lost a job at Rappahannock General Hospital as an x-ray tech because I couldn't get to Kilmarnock fast enough when on call. You can see the blue loop is the car ride, and then there's a little straight line as the crow flies. So the challenges of traveling by water to 353 Smith Lane are also very real. It's shallow water. It's not accessible to deep draft boats. You know, Slabtown is not Irvington, and Town Creek is not Carter's Creek. So we bought 343 Smith Lane in 1992 for $70,000. In 1999, we built a new house on the footprint of the former house. This is the front side. This is the back side. The 1,356 square foot house faces east. It's a vernacular house type, an I house. It's 2 rooms deep, or 2 rooms wide, 1 room deep, 2 stories tall. And people have been building these in the United States since colonial times. The view in the near distance is Callis Wharf with its associated docks on the right. In the middle distance, there's Brian Dillison's dock and boathouse on the left. And in the far distance, the eastern bank of the Coratoman is visible. There are a few administrative items I'd like to get corrected on our property card. There's no bulkhead. The picture up top was from I can't remember, 2011 or something like that. It's even more gone now than it was then. And then the basement, it looks like there are 4 ladders stacked up, but it's 2 ladders stacked, and then that's their reflection in the water. It's a great place to grow mushrooms, but it is most definitely not finished. Then let's see, I keep on forgetting how you operate this. So then the acreage has changed a little bit. The little piece in the red box there is totally gone. The bulkheads that evidently the people, when they come to the property, see, are gone. But they're both, one of them's located in the 0.04 acre red box, and the other is inside that blue circle. So that's the house in the lower left-hand corner of the picture. Regarding the overall assessment, where are the properties that are similar to ours? And what comps were used? I looked for decades to find 343 Smith Lane. I don't know of a similar property. I asked Jason Cowan if he'd provide a few comparable properties, but no word yet. Can anyone provide it's a quote, I think, from your reassessment letter, the written explanation or justification for an increase in a property's assessed value that is spoken about in Virginia Code 58-1-3331. The property card says that RHMH visited the house last August. RHMH said the house's condition was good. He or she wasn't bothered by the displaced fractures in the concrete porches from the shrink swell soil, the rotten window rails on the east side of the house, the torn screen on the porch, or the degraded vinyl siding and degraded by UV. Our house is valued at $202 per square foot, or, in this new assessment. That seems high for a slab-town farmhouse. In 2018, it was $109 a foot. The assessment for the improvements went from $200,700 to $305,900, a 52% increase. And the assessment for the land went up as well. In Jason's 2024 reassessment manual, he mentioned external or economic depreciation multiple times. The depressing effect on value of a property being located next door to challenging land use like a gun club. The burden of showing a change to property assessment is needed rests on the taxpayer. This is because the county enjoys the presumption of correctness of the assessor's findings in these hearings. It's up to the homeowner to provide you guys with evidence, and this requires me to get a bit negative. I wonder if anyone in the Lancaster County Planning Office told Jason about the dramatic change that occurred in the Town Creek neighborhood 5 years ago. On July 25th, 2019, the Board of Supervisors granted a special exception to allow an industrial use on tax map 26-84D, the R1 zone land located in the middle of our neighborhood. Neighbors have been impacted by the new use of the former Callis Wharf, but in 2024, no external economic depreciation was applied to our property or to that of our neighbors. And there's some other neighbors too. I just didn't draw all the lines. What is peace and quiet worth? stepping back for a moment, in the 2019 reassessment, the 343 Smith Lane land value went from 195,300 to 24,800. As you can imagine, I didn't complain about the decrease. At the time, I believe that the Commissioner of Revenue had recognized the negative impact of the industrial use on our waterfront real estate value. I believe that the government had recognized we'd been hurt, that we no longer had the quiet enjoyment of our property. I'd like to show you a short video, and I'm going to show like 3 seconds, and then ask you whether you can hear the sound, because the sound's an important part. And if you can't hear the sound, I've got another way I can show it. Let's see here. Oops. Sorry. Technology. Complicated. So could you guys hear the sound?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna do another way here. Let me see if I can get my zoom. Well, actually, this is fine. I think I can do this. So what I'm doing is I'm holding another.
We don't have the old data sheet or the notes.
He got his laptop. Right? Let's switch screen. You see your laptop?
I don't know.
Y'all hear the sound now?
No.
No, sir.
Oh, wow, okay. So you can't hear a backup beeper or anything? Huh. Okay, well, suffice it to say, there's a pretty loud backup beeper. Okay, sorry about that. Everybody loves a backup beeper.
Yeah,
Just
how
if I can get
often
back
is that,
to
are they running that kind of equipment? Is that-
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not all the time, and, and certainly, I'm just trying to get you guys back to where I can, my screen sharing seems to, anyway, they're not running it all the time, but it's definitely impacted, the neighborhood. Chuck and Oysters just wasn't very noisy, and, running excavators around, and, I mean, if it wasn't for the backup beepers, it'd be a whole lot better, but, I guess OSHA's gonna make you have those. Let's see, I think if you did wanna watch the video, like, later on, I think there should be we call it a link in that document you guys have.
And what is the business that's there? They do like shoreline work?
Yeah, they're like, shoreline or not restoration, they build docks and stuff
Marine
like that.
contractor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I said marine
Anyways.
contractor, yeah.
Yeah. So, but what is peace and quiet worth? So, let's see, we did the video, or tried. In addition to correcting the inaccuracies on our property card, I have one favor to ask. Many waterfront home sites are rectangular. They're deep lots with a short end of the rectangle fronting on the water. And a lot shaped like that allows rebuilding or relocating a structure if, God forbid, Hurricane Hugo takes at the front yard. Our home site was affordable 32 years ago because where the house stood was the only authorized location for a house with a view of the creek. If the land under the house goes, there's not another buildable waterfront site on the lot. But in the case of all my waterfront neighbors, if they were to lose the land beneath their houses, they'd be able to rebuild and just move further back. And it's sort of this equality thing. The fact that their lots are more usable than mine is not detectable in the uniform assessments we share. Should an assessment consider the inherent usability of a parcel? I don't know whether Jason looks at RPAs and stuff like that when he's assessing. The home site in the 2024 reassessment is valued at $200,000 an acre. And if only a tenth of that acre is buildable because of the RPA, would it make sense to assess that portion, that 4,356 square feet, or not 4,356 square feet, assess that
14 hours.
at 20,000 and the rest of the acreage be classified as residual land and valued at the forested land price? As it stands currently, the assessment is increasing from, you'll love this, 24,800 to $211,300, a 752% increase. So I get the prize on percentage increase, I guess. In closing, I'd like you to consider retaining the 2019 assessed value of our lot, the 24,800. Additionally, I hope you'll examine the possibility of providing other Town Creek homeowners with economic depreciation relief. When you're deliberating later today, ask Crystal what she's heard about the state of affairs in the Town Creek area. I think she could help you understand why several of the neighbors have moved since the special exception was granted. And let's see, Glenn, I'm all done sharing the screen. Oh, you are stop share, I see, okay. Are y'all still there?
We are.
Yes.
It's so funny, yeah, I'm still not seeing you, which is, the one thing that's hard for me to understand is so the county's been losing people since 1935. Usually in economics, you think of it as being a lot of people chasing a limited number of goods. The value of the goods goes up. What's the deal with this housing crisis and land prices when there are fewer and fewer people, but it's getting more and more expensive? It's just, I guess it's sort of a philosophical question, but it's very odd.
A question for you, sir. Before you received the reassessment, did you receive, on our tax card, there's a note on the land value from 2023 that says error from reassessment. And so before the 2024 number came out, they had moved your land value from 24,800 to 146,300, which makes me think that.
Yeah, you know how usually, it's sort of like, banks never make mistakes through your balance, and governments very rarely, make errors. And so, primarily my correspondence with the county is, once a year I get a note in October with a tax bill, and I pay it, and I think I've always paid them on time. I think I wrote the check this year, October 23rd. And, so I've got these tax bills from the last 4 years and all the canceled checks and stuff. And then, maybe it was Beth, I can't remember who, or someone from the commissioner's office got in touch with me and sent me another bill. And I didn't know what it was for. But I try to be good. So I wrote a check for, I don't know, it was like $500 or something like that, and sent it to him. And the check has on the memo line, has written, "What's this for?" And, I've asked for some clarity on, what happened. And, I know you guys are pretty thin-staffed, so I don't mean to pick on the Commissioner of Revenue's office. I know they're going to get around to hopefully writing me and telling me like what happened, when it happened, how it happened, and what the enabling legislation is that they'll rely on to. So yeah, so after that first supplemental tax bill, I received like another 3 of them in the mail, and it's Christmas time, and just like, quite frankly, I was freaking out. And, I'm retired, and I was just freaking out, and I haven't dealt with it yet because of my own personal shortcomings and the lack of bandwidth. It just, I've never had this happen before. So I'm gonna come down and talk to the Commissioner of Revenue and talk to the county administrator, and we'll get this worked out. But yeah, it just seems, it'd be like, I'm a photographer, and I guess you couldn't guess that. And if I sold you a picture 4 years ago for $30, and then came back to you 4 years later and said, I made an error that should have been 300, you would laugh me out of the room. And so, I'm just trying to, I'm sorry I'm being slow about it, but I just haven't done it yet. I'm trying to do my federal taxes. Oh God, it's like life is paperwork, and paperwork I'm not good at. I'm good at pulling ivy and rivets though, so that's why Northern Neck is so perfect. Anyway, sorry to go on.
Does anybody have any questions?
I think so.
Mr. Emery?
Down there.
Well, Mr. Emery, I appreciate your presentation and providing us with the data, the information that you have. Since you are our last Zoom appointment of the day, we'll start deliberations after this and carefully go through and examine each case-by-case basis. In your case, both on the land and the improvement value, to see if we can come up with some of those answers that are even glaring to us. Like Neil pointed out, the error from reassessment 2023, why did your land jump from 24,800 to 146,300? There aren't any notes provided to us
And,
that tells us why.
It's just sort of like, the errors, do they live eternally? I've been, I suppose, being charged for a finished basement since the year 2000. Will the county, want to reimburse me for all that money? Not that it's going to be that much, but you make an error, and everybody behaves sort of in good faith and stuff. It just seems weird that the taxpayer is always going to be wrong.
Sure, so your basement, it's 748 total, but none of that's finished. As you showed in the picture, it's leaking at times, and there's no finished part of that basement.
Yeah.
Right, so that's an area we've got to
And the
correct.
bulk,
And then we have to remove the bulkhead too.
And, I think I actually talked to my next door neighbor, former next door neighbor, and he's died a few years back, but Henry Cathy used to be chair of the Board of Equalization. And I think I told Henry, back in 2008 about, I don't know whether anybody has minutes or something, but I think I made a point about the bulkhead in the basement, and, I guess it just never got corrected.
Well, it will get corrected now, I can promise you that.
I really hope, all this computer stuff, it's obviously a nightmare. You see how I'm struggling with it today, but, it'd be so great if the property cards were a little bit more user-friendly.
Sure.
Or not user, I mean, the public could look at them and go, oh, hey, what's that? And I mean, because it's a paper format, you got to have sort of small areas and you can't have writing all over the place, but just some explanations on what some of these factors and mystery codes and things are. I mean, I went through the assessment manual, but there's still a lot of it that I can't figure out.
Well, we
But,
will take,
God bless them.
we'll take that back to the Board of Supervisors as well. We've been compiling notes of recommendations and feedback from taxpayers about their experiences thus far. So we'll definitely make sure to add your comments too, to take back to them.
Well, tremendously thankful to all you guys, and if you're ever, I mean, I know that no one in the county ever comes out to Millenbeck or Slabtown, but if you ever do, you got a place on my porch, and I would love to see.
It's my backyard.
RJ Reynolds is our newest member. That's right up in his
I think,
backyard, so.
Miss Reynolds' son is that Ricky Jr.?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yes, sir.
Your son's great, and I actually had one of those pictures that you guys have. You can see Ricky Jr.'s. I'm not sure what he's going to plant this year, but corn or soybean field next to a field that I've planted trees in. So.
What are you planting, Rick?
Hey, beans this year.
Oh, beans. Okay, very. Yeah, Ricky's a wonderful. I used to work on a dairy farm, and I just totally admire anybody who's got the steel to be a farmer. It's a tough life. Anyway, thank you guys. And,
Thank you
have
very
a
much
good-
too, Mr. Emery, and we will send a letter your way in 2 to 3 weeks' time from the county. We're going to correct these inaccuracies on the tax card and see what we can come up with as far as, looking at the adjustments for the valuations. And we'll send you a letter within 2 to 3 weeks' time.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
have
you.
A good,
Have a great weekend.
thank you.
I guess it's just impractical, but it would be nice if there was something that was a part of the process where if somebody's assessment changed by over X percentage, maybe you take that top 10% of the people that were most impacted, that they would get some sort of hearing where somebody a little bit more, maybe it's the top 5%, top 2%, just whatever number makes sense, where they would definitely get some sort of meeting with somebody to go through the tax card and say, because this seems like one where the 13,500 from before was potentially in just a clerical error of some sort. But when you have these that all of a sudden go, that they could come in and, I don't know if it's the assessor or they get more than 5 minutes and definitely get a return phone call.
5 years ago, but this one made me think about this. I don't know if you remember, but y'all were going around. I'm not sure what area it was, but waterfront neighbors, some neighbor brought something in, and in y'all deliberations, you found where someone would have only been charged 10,000 for a deep water line with here. 10,000 was it for the line, and it ended up being like $100,000 difference that y'all changed. It was like, they kind of reminded me, it must have been a clerical error,
Yeah.
from the time
Yeah.
they had said it.
Well, I think with the old one, it was HSC 500. So, I think typically that ends up determining what the price is. So I don't know if there's something on the computer where everybody with HSC 500, because if you do the math, it looks like it was supposed to be 135,000 plus the residual, but a zero got dropped off of it. I don't know on his notes where it says 2023 error from reassessment, if it was Jason that caught that while he was going through and then changed it and then, or if it was something with the county, but
Right.
those are tough.
And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to know the answers to these questions.
No.
I mean, even if we call Jason, we're going to have to take what we got and make the best
Yeah.
decision we can. I mean, some of these things are way off.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to say, okay, this is what it needs to be.
All right, are we starting at the beginning again, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense just to go back to Heather Tally and start from the beginning. Let's
Yep.
go through them.
Yep.
All right, so on tally, we changed it to F and E, and it came down to 315. So we just need to bump up, take down her factor and bump up her depreciation.
Yep.
To get her somewhat close to,
85.
Yeah,
Fair
more or
market.
less. I mean,
yeah, with her, I think we can just deal with it on the depreciation and factor side.
Yep.
But it'll come up again. I would like an explanation on how the plumbing number comes up, because with, the gentleman on Akron or Poplar Neck or whatever that was his name Kevin?
Crawford, yeah.
With his being
27,000, yeah.
I don't know if it's a factor of square footage or each bathroom gets a value.
Well, there's nothing to say that we can't, right now, just take the plumbing value back to what it was before. In AC, that's.
On Heather Tallies?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that the rates for plumbing and heating and everything are just higher, this assessment, based on.
But she's only got plumbing going to one bathroom and one kitchen.
Yeah, that was the one we were talking about, maybe doing functional on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where is we're at 315,000 by changing it from E to F, or to EF?
Yeah.
315,024.
I don't know, do you just hit it with some sort of $75,000, 75% depreciation, or? We've seen one with a factor of 70, right? I think there's one property yesterday, it certainly seems like, I don't know why the factor would have gone up, but I could see where it could go down quite a bit with trees growing through it.
Yeah.
Dude, what were you trying to get to? Was it 89, 85?
85 is what she
85-ish,
paid.
somewhere in there.
If you did, I did not change any of the improvement stuff, but if you do 75 on the factor and 70 on the depreciation, you get to like 83,700.
Perfect.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Crystal, you ready?
So are we gonna change the class
75
to?
and what?
Yes.
Okay.
For tax map 25218A,
On the depreciation.
the class gets changed from C to E. Yes. But are we changing the story too? It wasn't a
Oh,
two-story
yeah.
house.
Didn't she say it didn't make a big difference? But, I mean, we can.
I think to
Make
correct it,
clerical.
yeah, for the number of stories, from 2 to 1.25. The factor from 93 down to 75. And physical depreciation from 23 to 70%.
You don't think 70's unreasonable, do you?
No.
I don't.
No.
For that property-
Based
I
off
mean,
what
I was just flipping through the inspection report, and I'm like, wow.
No, I think that's
It's just one of the highest ones we've done, but.
Yeah.
probably one of
And
the
if-
worst condition ones we've
I
seen
would
too.
agree.
If we're not
I
gonna
would
do
agree.
anything on the functional, I'd say, yeah, no.
All right.
Perfect,
Cool.
Yep.
all right. And with Ronnie Forster, we did
We did 2 of them, right?
did 2 of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did 70,
One, and then you change the light.
we did 17B, and we did 17 for Dwight, so we've got 76 and 17A.
76 he was content with, wasn't he?
Yes.
Thought.
That's right, no
No
change, yeah,
change.
so no change for 76. Yep. And what was 17A? What was his? Do you remember?
It's got a whole lot of buildings on it, and the improvement value went
17A.
like doubled from the year before, and he said maybe only a couple of the
Yeah, I
buildings
didn't
are-
know.
When you did not tell me about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one with the big improvement sheet, bunch of buildings and sheds on it, yeah.
Yep.
So again, the land values stay the same, it's just the improvement values doubled.
Yeah, so he said there were 2 Butler buildings. RJ, what did he say? Were they in count or not?
What he's got an open face shed that they store equipment in, and then a Butler building that they used as a shop for the farm. It's got cement floor in it. There's some other buildings there, but they're like old hay barn type structures. Maybe housed cattle at one point, something like that. I mean, they're older buildings.
Is it just cranking up the depreciation on a couple of those to
That's what I'm thinking, Neil.
get the value back somewhere close to where it was
Yeah.
Through depreciation?
Yeah.
previously?
Dog run.
What,
I guess with him not being here, we don't know exactly which one.
Where was that?
Dog run?
Oh, they probably, I'm assuming they have like the little, the little 10x10
Oh,
cages that you keep a pet in.
pavement.
Yeah, because I wrote down one that was 40 by 44, that's what he said. Now I'm not
That's
seeing.
probably the 40 by 40 or the 40.
Okay, and then he said 2 Butler buildings, so that's all I wrote down.
What is a Butler building?
They're
More or less.
They're
metal
typically metal, but they've got the slanted sides with it's not quite a flat roof, but it's got a real light pitch in it, and a lot of times you'll see the roof overhang the sides.
Okay.
sided. A lot of farm equipment stays in it.
They had the sliding square doors on the front.
Yeah.
It was an old, it was very typical 30, 40 years ago
Right.
for
equipment store?
shops, storage.
So the 40 by 40 shed for 14,400, that's probably,
Well, RJ, what do you think from that list of improvements? Where do you see areas where we could pick up some depreciation and added? There's a couple at 50. I guess the bigger
mean,
ticket
some
items
of
are
those-
the bigger sheds and the big shed.
just take two of those sheds down to, yeah.
I mean, a lot of the smaller stuff you could probably increase to 70%.
Yeah, because he said no value on the other buildings. I'm not sure which ones he meant, but.
So you talking about the three,
Like the smaller structures, I wish there was a little more.
Shed, the large shed and the barn?
Yeah,
Okay,
or the barn frame with the loft.
yeah.
That's probably where like they use it to store chemicals and stuff. It's,
so instead of 50%, take that up to 75?
I would say at least 75%.
All right, let's go 75 there. Then the next one down, 60 by 24 shed, same thing, 75?
Assuming I'm thinking about the same building that this is, yeah, you could do that.
Same thing with the one below that, 50 by 28?
That one, yes.
All right.
And then, so you're.
How about the 40 by 40? They got that 40% depreciation.
See, I'm not sure what, that would be like an old, it was almost like a big chicken coop or something they had at one point in time. It's not, a lot of that stuff had dirt
$14,400?
floor. I'm sorry?
Is it worth $14,400?
I don't know that I don't know that you could find that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't feel comfortable saying definitively there's not some value there, but,
You just want to
Not
get
that
the other
much, huh?
three?
yeah, I mean,
Well, why don't we bump that to 55%? What's that give us if we take those?
That's a lot. This is 2.39 acres. for this. All this stuff would take up an acre of land.
yeah, that's again, like, a lot of
Yeah,
it
see,
is, a lot
And
of
it only
it's
got 2
really
point,
clustered.
yeah.
But that was very typical on a small farmstead. Yeah.
So there's no land in they farm on this
Probably not on that particular,
parcel. It seems like they got equipment all on this one. I mean, grain bin.
yeah,
Is
this
that that
is,
metal thing that's round?
this is kind of like where they base their operation from.
And so is that grain bin the one that's round?
Yes, ma'am.
Like Craig Eason had
That's right.
on Ameriport Road?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't see nothing under there. You can't farm under there because they be close together. So you feel lawn going plowed up. I don't know.
So pavement, they tax for that as well?
Mm-hmm,
Because it is a paved driveway going into it, I guess that's what they're talking about?
yep.
That's odd.
60 by 24, 1440 times 15, 21.6, 6.
Just,
No water, no,
I don't see why you can't do something with the depreciation on those two small grain tanks. The value of a 500 bushel grain tank should not be more than a 35 or 4,500 bushel tank, and the condition they're in is probably good.
So take the,
I mean, the two small 500 bushel grain tanks,
yeah,
I don't see why you can't push that depreciation to at least 55 to match
to match the other ones, all right.
even though they're smaller.
Well, they're, right, so they should, to me, they should be valued less,
Yeah, okay.
but there's more value there.
How about the big metal one, 40 by 72? I mean, they have that 55, but the other ones, we had 50, we bumped up.
Yeah.
Well, the rates on that's only $2.50 a square foot anyway, so it's small. What do y'all think?
I think that all seems, I don't know if we need a final number check or just go with that to,
I mean, that should get us back to
Where it was before.
close to where it was before, yeah.
yeah, as long as it's somewhere close in there.
That's good, that'll work.
RJ,
Yes, sir.
you do with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Explain all that.
Well, I can, yeah.
I mean, if that's okay with you, or I can-
Sure. No, that's fine.
Y'all just do the depreciation on separate pieces. Equipment or structures.
Yep.
Yep.
Those want to put a little hash beside, then, so 50 goes to 55, 75, 75, 75, 55, 55.
Okay. So y'all change one, two, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
That was it for him, right?
That's it for him.
Yep, yep, yep.
But it's up in the depreciation on the other side.
Yes, ma'am.
That was the one he didn't tell us about.
All right. Hughes's.
That was one Ronnie,
I don't think there were,
that's the one he said had the old home.
Oh.
He says it's not livable, but he didn't want.
You know
Had
what?
no power.
That's right.
oh, we didn't address that.
We didn't take
Sorry.
that one, did
I
we?
thought we did that one, I guess not.
That's right, yep.
Okay.
So,
He didn't have the sheet on that either, where he, so I don't think we did.
You're talking about
777,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right here.
not the- But that's the new one,
the
right?
new one?
I think.
They
Yep.
So
not livable, yeah.
what's the best way to change that?
Let's see if we did. That's not it.
Reduce the factor by,
7.
I mean, I don't see why we can't just, well, there is a building on it, but there's no value to it.
Neil, you didn't get 777, did you? Did Chris, is that one of the one that Crystal might have given to you because we didn't have the write-up on it of Mr. Forrester's?
What did you say was the economy depreciation? What did you just?
717, you already talked about, right?
Yep,
77?
yeah. He's the one that had the old house on it.
Oh, you know, what? I don't remember.
Here, you want the, I got the tax card and the
Yeah, we were looking for the
this is 777.
field sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can make more copies if you want.
That's the same thing we've got. That's the same one we've got.
That's not the old one?
No.
Hmm. Well,
God, do y'all remember what the cutover value was for the ones yesterday?
They had taken it off of a cutover. I was thinking about that.
It was $2,000? Weren't we lower than that?
I think what they had done with with that one with the
1,500
little
or 1,000,
house
wasn't
is they had just removed the cutover. And then the old tax card had said cutover and was 1,000 an acre. But then on the new tax card, it just said wooded, like the rest of it. So I saw, which one is that? I noticed that. I was like, well, I wonder why they took the cutover away from the lady that we looked at the other day. But on this one.
Well, she did say that after a 5-year period, it's not, once it reaches a certain growth, it's not designated cutover anymore. But just
Which
with
parcel is
this
this that has
being
the cutover on
designated,
it?
I couldn't
77.
remember the price that we,
I see 77.
the per acre price we did yesterday. And 2,000 may be exactly what it was. I just don't remember saying that.
And we don't have the notes.
Because this,
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering about the cutover, I wonder if they didn't plan it back, but on this one, it was cut over in 2019, and it transferred over as cutover now. I don't know which one is right, but I wonder.
I'm not sure that he had it reseeded.
Okay,
I know there's like natural undergrowth there, but I can go by there this afternoon and find out for sure. But I'm not positive that it was,
Well,
because the way Beth talked, once it was reseeded, right?
Yeah.
Then it reached a certain growth, it,
in 5 years, didn't she?
it grows out of that category
Yeah.
for, but I don't know if Ronnie had, I wish I'd have thought to ask him that.
I don't know, I feel like we're not being asked to look at that. It's kind of on the assessor. I'm not sure how I'm just curious how he determines.
True. Well, and I guess, yeah, because
When
the
it
issues with
transfers.
the house, right, with the improvements. So maybe I'm looking at something I shouldn't.
His only argument was the house.
All right.
I noticed this factor went to
Well, then
113.
that per acre price is irrelevant,
Oh, no,
sorry.
it wasn't.
I-
That's okay.
I'm making work. I won't do
Yeah, we
that.
don't have the old one.
Oh, right.
Join the club.
But I didn't notice the factor is 113 on a house that apparently
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So you want to lower the factor to,
Is that a Beth question? Like, are we able to?
We can do whatever we want
Determine from what he said?
We can
that's
do
enough?
whatever, we can do whatever we want to.
Yeah, whoever you want, just give
Right?
them a ducks.
I mean,
We,
certainly
we,
the
we can,
bill,
we can summons people, we can do whatever we want to. The judge said so. We have the power,
I mean, we can change condition.
And the jail is in the
Hey.
back.
right?
well, the condition on that other building, we went down to F and E, and it really only brought down the value
Not
of
that
it.
much.
Like, did he say there's no septic? I believe he said there's no
No
septic.
septic,
No
that's
septic.
noted on here too.
I mean, at some point, is this no longer it certainly shouldn't be A and C, but going to F and E isn't, at some point, is this building just a shell of some sort that should be classified differently? That's what it sounds like to me. I'm just not sure what classification we need to give it. Do they determine that by putting the depreciation at 95%? Or at some point, does it just need to be changed to abandoned building or something like that? Is there another
What do you say?
designation for it?
I think we gotta get Beth. Might as well ask Beth.
You,
I just wanna see, house removed, next one.
Well,
Mr. McLean,
on the one that I brought before him, I have 21 acres. It was an old hog farm. The house is completely dilapidated. The roof's fallen in, the basement flooded, so it's molded and everything. So I have value in basically the Butler building and the grain tanks that are there. Well, they initially had 50,000 for improvement value, and it went to 90. So I called, and there was no site visit. He hadn't looked at the house. And when I explained to him the condition of the house and what should be done with it, he put a dollar value on that house, and my improvement value went from 90 to 15. So I don't know if I didn't look at my tax card to see if I had a home site designation and what the value was or any of that. But I'm wondering if something like that could be done here. 'Cause it's, other than the additional improvement value that I had, that this doesn't, it's very similar in the size of the home, the date of the home that was built, and may not even be relevant, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I don't know how you do.
Gotta make sure we realize that Beth usually does lunch around 2:30 in the
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yeah.
But
We better roll through these things, we're not gonna have any questions with Beth.
Speaking of water and basements, what is Gerald Sellers gonna do with that house? I was shocked that he put a new roof on that house, because when I went in it, you could see the sky from inside the house.
That's gonna last tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
All right. If we've got a property with no septic, an old 1865 home on it, no nothing, no electric, no pipe, it's just a rotten down building.
Okay, but it's still standing.
Yes.
Yeah, barely, yes.
Okay.
What can we do with that?
What you can do probably is just fair value it, come up with a value, and just fair value it.
Okay.
is there any sort of designation, or should we just put the depreciation up really, really high? Like, at some point, does a building become so, if it's got no septic, it's not connected to electricity anymore? At some point, is it just an abandoned building and not?
It will always
Rated.
have a value as long as it's standing.
Okay.
That's why he put mine at $1.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. As long as it's standing, it has to have some type of value.
So we could just say, we're gonna put a fair market value on that structure of $1.
That's what you want to do.
Perfect.
That's what you can do.
Cool.
Yeah.
We can do that.
And
for
we don't
my
have to worry
house.
about changing classes or conditions, just fair market value,
Yeah.
whatever we think it,
Yeah, Beth will put it in the system as fair value, fair market value. for the
Thank you.
value of it.
Okay. All right.
thank you.
Can we make his $5?
How about $1.25?
Can't even go to the dollar store for $1.25.
That's right.
So on
I
this,
mean, do you think that sounds?
no, I mean, if I had that building staying on my property, the only reason I had it there is because it's the look and the uniqueness of it. But I know I could tear it down and it'd be out of,
Yeah,
I'd tear it down in a heartbeat.
yeah.
But if you start charging me for it, it's, $70,000, that thing, she's gone tomorrow.
Well, I think
Good Lord.
he said that himself too,
Yeah.
didn't he? So,
I
But
mean,
he has sentimental values, right?
I would love to
Well,
see
there-
it. I bet you it's cool.
there is historical relevance to that place within that community, I guess, and they.
What is
I mean,
it?
it's an old farm right in Alfonso.
Yeah, but what value, I mean, sentimental value does it have?
Well, that's subjective. That can be $1 million to you and 5 cents to me. It's, you know, it's.
I thought maybe some relative, you know.
No, well,
George
I think,
Washington.
they grew up in that area and they remember what all that stuff was when they were kids. And I begin, because I told you about the Marsh Farm with Gene, I think
Yeah.
it's a similar circumstance.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And they want to pay for it, you put whatever amount you want.
well, I
I,
Yeah.
are you all in
$1.
agreement it's a fair market value for that structure of $1?
I don't see why.
that's
it couldn't
fine.
be, Yeah.
All right, so Crystal,
They may come back.
for
and say, "Let's go with that."
$777,
You know how people.
Yeah.
for the structure and improvements, we're just saying fair market value, $1. That's everything less than land, so. Okey dokey,
So now Ronnie's done, right?
the Hugheses.
Who? You finished with Foster?
Yes, ma'am.
Praise God.
Next one is Hughes.
Hughes,
I like him, but beautiful handwriting, who did that? This is really
They've got
increase
their
in
little
excess
chart here.
value.
Two-bedroom
that's
septic.
great.
Oh, let me see. I had something there. They added a pool in 23.
Should we do this one in Kevin's house kind of at the same time?
Absolutely, yeah,
Because they're
'cause
right next to each
Crawford
other.
is right here, yeah.
So in terms
Yeah,
of
great idea.
comps and fair market value.
Yeah.
Kind of thinking about all the same
for sure.
You ready to go home
info,
today?
the other house is bigger.
Yep.
I mean, I think that Andrea's listing there that sold for 660 is a pretty good indication of fair market value for that area, as well as Diana's, that, I think when they did that house, it's like a little wonky. There's a new house right in this neighborhood that's not selling, that I kind of feel like the modular style that they didn't really help them out a ton, but still surprised that it hasn't sold. So it's kind of a factor, economic or functional depreciation, kind of based on the flood zone and neighborhood.
Food is,
Were they worried about condition class, or was that another? No, that was the former appraiser.
So they raised the factor,
From 95 to 101.
and depreciation.
I mean, it's pretty cool that they got a pool in there. And I talked to that guy for a minute, showing the brand-new house to some people. He came over and just chatted for a while.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool property. It's hard to. You had so much construction going on when we were there, because I think they were building the pool.
But the building itself went from 92 a square to 173, doubled.
Did the home site didn't change much, so there's not really anything to do on the land side.
Were there multiple garages
Can,
on this or not?
I'd like to see the tax cards on, or at least the tax card on Andrea's listing, what was that? That's the one that sold for $660. 2164 Auckland Road. Which one's 1849 Auckland Road? I don't remember that one.
1849.
See if there's anything else, should.
That's a pretty new house, no?
I think we're looking to see if 1849 needs to be pulled.
Matt Kane? He's way up at the end off of Quilla Point.
Yeah.
You don't have near view as they do.
No.
Didn't y'all sell that Neil Gilmore's?
No, we had the listing of it. Is that what that is? I was thinking that seemed.
That's what it is. That's the
Okay.
Gilmore house.
Yeah, that's a pretty different, very different house, I think. I would
Yeah.
think theirs would be worth more, especially with the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Theirs would be worth more than that. Anything else down there? Mary Point, that was the Tilly's old house. It doesn't really, 'cause that was so different and had the dock falling down.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. Cove Colony doesn't really work. I mean, I'm surprised that that house sold for $660. I kind of feel like their house would be, even though it's smaller with the pool, just an old house that's that low down, I think just turned a lot of people.
I mean, walking in that
Away from
backyard,
it.
I mean, I was underwater in no time flat.
Yeah.
And we hadn't had any rain.
I kind of feel like their house is like a little bit higher. than-
This is the one we want them to pull,
Yeah.
3572. And 3571, please. That's it.
And what are we looking at on this? Just land values or?
I guess it's how the house values
Both.
changed and compared.
Okay.
then maybe what the factors and depreciations and stuff are. So they're at 772, he's trying to get around 700, seem fair from a market value standpoint.
The name?
Again, I just,
He's the farm.
almost everybody is listing their property above the,
How old is he?
but flood
Do
zone
we
does
have
make a
two,
difference.
two sheets of improvements for this property?
Was Enos older?
One was a
See, I'm
markup.
thinking of a young man
From-
my age
yeah.
named Enos,
Why do we have two?
but I don't think it was
Oh.
Nickens.
I
I'm
guess
thinking
because that was from the
He got a
field
son
notes.
named Enos.
That went with that.
He used to work in it. Oh.
I don't
he used to
know.
work up for his-
Must
Well,
have been.
one's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
131,000, one's
Oh,
131.
you think with,
All right, so this
Enos
went with
Saunders?
this
That's
one.
probably
That
who
went
I
with
That's
the
a
new
cousin.
card.
Yeah, he's,
He was a year or two.
he's 60, wait a minute, he's a year older, no, a year younger than my brother.
And then this
So
went
that means
with,
He's 68.
Yeah, this
60,
one
he'll
with
be
the,
69 this year.
Has he got a junior? No, I'm only
Field sheet.
43.
Oh.
so
This
he-
one did?
Has he got a
Yeah.
junior too?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the one that would be my age.
oh, yeah, yeah, he had, he's down Newport News.
He's related to you?
Yeah, they related
You
to
said nephew?
No, not him.
Okay.
No, they just cousins.
In a
Okay.
24 to
That
2,800 square foot cottage
He
with
lives
a
in
pool in
Williamsburg.
I
Whitestone.
don't surprise me.
And then.
It's really just trying to figure out how the neighborhood and the
He
flood
was
zone
from
kind of
The same place as his brother lived.
messes with
for.
that. You know, it doesn't seem like a
I think all,
crazy value.
all three of them, Michael,
I mean, I don't think the land value is crazy,
Yeah, I remember them.
No.
days.
but against that improvement value,
okay,
we need to,
Michael moved,
Yep.
he married a white girl,
Okay.
one of the Lee girls
Yeah,
in the restaurant.
okay.
The old factor was
Yeah.
95.
Tiffany was her name.
Yeah.
That's right. Because
Yeah.
I was
So I
friends
feel like-
with her brother, Brian.
Going back to the
Okay.
old
And they got
factors,
two
kind of
girls.
Gotcha.
They something
I
too.
bet they are.
reasonable.
Well, yeah, because they, I think Michael was younger.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
younger.
he was younger.
And then they got a
Thing to
beautiful
do.
sister.
What was her?
I guess the other way to think of it, I mean, Andrea's,
Anika.
the one right we're pulling, the
She's a nurse.
2164 Auckland Road,
Was she
I think
young
that
too?
would have sold
Yeah.
for
She the youngest?
$800,000 or
I think she
$900,000 had it
between
been
them.
And Michael.
Okay.
elevated 8 feet
Yeah.
and
She looks like a
had
mother.
riprap
She a nurse down
kind of thing. It was a
I think
cool
she
house.
changed up
Yeah, it
when
was
she
a
was
pretty
older.
cool
that-
house.
And it was definitely kind of, it
The
was
guy-
old.
the
so
Geyer's house?
Kinda chopped up. Yeah.
Katie and I had a contract on that.
Yeah,
They changed the name.
yeah.
Did it ever
Okay,
get
I
to
know
home
what you're talking about.
inspection? Is that why
But she
it
live in,
went through?
Yeah,
it's-
we went to home
I think she
inspection
live in
and
Kilmartin in Iowa somewhere.
it was obviously
That's
She's a
flooded.
cousin of mine.
Yeah.
Small world, ain't it?
Yeah. And when every time I look
listing
at that
firm
picture, it reminds me of
Said
my
it never
brother.
flooded.
Yeah, you
We found out from
Yeah.
the owners that it had flooded, so we said,
Oh, goodness.
He'd
Yeah.
be, 70.
Oh, but did, who had it last? Did,
Him and,
for the listing?
Bumpsy.
Did Andrea have it for a bit?
Andrea and them had it, yeah.
Bumpsy.
Yeah.
Is it- Yeah, it's around the same. And Buttons, how about Buttons?
Nah, I done.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so hard to
He's
tell. Like, I don't
crazy.
know if that one, just
Did you
being
know
an old
Secret
house
had
that
that
was
shop
so
up there in Lancaster?
low.
Or
It
Bobby
just,
Shop?
you know, I showed it to a couple of people. and
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
This
not
place is
the
cool,
barber
but my
shop,
goodness.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, right after you
Doesn't seem
pass
like
the
it would
post
take
office.
anything before.
There's the barber shop.
Yeah, when I
sitting
started
there, yeah.
walking out
Okay.
towards
I
the
used,
water,
I
I'm
was
like,
raised up in
holy
the house
crap.
close to the road.
Okay.
that's like Kevin Moriz are. You
Yeah.
get halfway out to the dock and
Is
it's
that
all of a
where they
sudden,
used to, well, what?
Yeah,
it was
start sinking.
Just recently, it was like a, and they had like a collectibles or something right there in that house. Is that the one you're talking
No, you know, the next one, all the windows and stuff,
about?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
two
while she's
brothers
doing that, where do you think
Yeah.
that house
It
should
comes
be?
at my
Feels like that would be
house.
hard to
And
get
then
$1
the other
million
one
one
is
for.
Gazelle. She had children, she had 12
Kevin's
children.
house,
They were
are waiting for her to
eights.
pull the other tax cards.
That house, all the windows are out.
We're gonna kinda
And
deal
then
with
the
both of
road
those at the
beside
same
it, you go to
time.
the dump. And then the next house up is, Joe Bill.
That looks like, I don't know anything about that house. It looks pretty from the outside.
it is a pretty house,
Who, oh,
yeah.
his wife?
Yeah.
She's nice.
She's something else.
But Joe Bill is the one that, what, claimed he had an accident or something.
Yeah.
That's where I almost think like some
Yeah.
sort of either
Yeah,
economic or
supposedly
functional
back up or something real
depreciation
bad.
for both of
I
them.
thought it was his head.
Might
try to
My father used to.
take into
work
account.
for-
The economical
Used to work for his grandfather.
offers
What's
for
the
sure,
deal?
because they got those two
They
Airbnbs
got
that they
that
can't
tomato
control in
factory
there.
go up.
Right across.
There's
Yeah.
no market
They're
for
wreaking
it
havoc, yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, we should go up there.
Yeah, because
Here's the
granddad
nail.
71 is on top,
20-some acres
70
of tomatoes.
is on the bottom.
And, because when I was a chap, I used to make all the boxes for them to pack up
I
and
used to have
ship
to
them
pick
to
'em.
Baltimore. Oh, I know. I
And-
got lucky. I didn't have to do the hard stuff.
And you need a basket we even on. And then my dad said, you got one
Those sites aren't too far off.
on top. Yeah, that's,
So the land value's all there the same.
Yeah.
oh,
All right, thank you.
small world.
Yes, it is.
Factor
Oh, that's the
125,
house when you
factor
look at
110.
the one before you get to the house with all the windows out and then that land there with my niece's boyfriend, got all in the cars.
Okay, that's the one. See, I was thinking it was on the other side of the road by the
No, it's
post
all them,
office.
oh no, all them houses on
Ah,
there.
I got you now.
I'm working with a cousin over there that, what not with a cousin, with his son, that brick house, that man died.
Got you.
So I'm trying to help his son in Ohio to sell it. And they drove the U-Haul up in the front
Yeah,
yard.
so this is the exact same
Made a big mess.
assessed value.
But keep it pure. All right,
Almost identical assessed
where we
value
at
for
now? What we doing
the
now?
subject property
I'm
to
running my mouth.
3571. No, 3571 and 72 are the exact same assessed values.
From these from ignorant. What we doing?
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
And they are very
Right.
comparable to our subject.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
Crawford.
pretty.
And so it seems like from an equalization standpoint,
Oh, no, not Crawford. He was just,
Seven.
We're dealing with Hughes.
yes, okay, that's what I thought, okay.
And what he gave you are the two comparable ones that they're
Okay.
comparing. Looking at right next door, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see here. This one has 6.
I mean, Hughes does have the new pool and all that,
Two.
it
but
does have a pool.
Okay, so they got one more bath.
It's just, it's kind of a, can you pull it up on Google Maps, David?
They got 2 baths. And 3
Do you know which
bedrooms.
property it is? Have you shown
This is
that
big.
new one and seeing, it's just kind of wild looking. There's like so much construction and stuff going on over there, but that,
Let me see
I don't think that's really anything for us to-
Let's see.
Oh my God, 9.
This is probably right there.
yeah, so that's the new house there to the right. And you can see where the pool is up there in front, and there's like a,
Oh,
that's Hughes.
No, Hughes is right here.
Hughes is
Okay,
there, yeah.
okay.
Looks like he's got deep water. It's a couple of good-sized boats. The boat ramp.
Yeah, he's right off, I mean, the bay's right here.
Yep.
everybody lives somewhere else.
And that's one of those weird ones where, you know, that house next door is newer and bigger. I could see almost the little river cottage with the pool, you know, going for maybe not more, but kind of similar amount of money.
And that's the one, is that the one that's modular that's on the market?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's this one right here.
okay.
So on the one that we were talking about that sold for 660, that one's
That's,
assessed for
that's right here.
739.
It's the exact same as this one right here.
And pretty darn close to the one that we're looking at.
Right here. Yep. Yeah. Where are the Hughes at? They're at 772?
Seven.
Yep.
Well, I mean, looks like most of the improvement value has been pool,
Yep.
pool house. That's $20,000 right there, additional value, just in the tax standpoint.
Yep.
Is it 200? No, but,
Yeah, he,
what was the factor previously?
95?
Well, the depreciation,
Went up.
they've kind of rebuilt, but then a tornado go through there. So what, could we take the factor down to what it was before?
290.
Yeah, I always feel like that's
So the factor
reasonable.
down to 95, and depreciation went up 10% in 5 years.
So that seems
Seems that
fair.
probably fair.
Yeah.
Y'all see anything else that sticks out to you all that we need to adjust on that one?
It's the only thing that I could think of, and I don't think we've really done this, so I don't know if it's worth doing, but if you look at 2164 that sold for 660, that sold for $70,000 underneath the assessed value during the time, so do you put like a functional depreciation on some of these at like 5%? Is that something we would do for the other property?
Because
we're kinda-
the
because
neighbor
the-
sold for,
Yeah, under the assessed value, so there's obviously something, and I think mainly it's probably the flood zone, potentially the Airbnb neighbors, there's
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
we can pretty clearly see in this little section
yep,
that, I don't wanna go kinda overboard, because it doesn't seem.
but would that be an economic or probably economical, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's not something wrong with the property, it's something wrong outside of the property, like the two
Yep.
Airbnbs plus the
The
flooding.
flood
So
zone, just kind of that neighborhood.
what do y'all want to
you
do for
can see.
economic depreciation then?
I think five, I think
Five.
just tweaking it a little bit
All
without,
right.
But the other two factors, though, are 125 and 110, and we're gonna lower his back down to 95?
well, I think if we look at the other one, we need to look at what the factor was. That factor is such a,
I know.
I mean, because I think, maybe with the other house, the factor's one, yeah,
But we also have to keep in mind that the other people aren't dissatisfied with their
Right,
assessment.
at
right.
the moment, yeah, so,
Yeah,
yet,
So are we good on this one?
yeah, 95 and 5.
yeah.
Okay, 3573C for the Hughes. We're going to take the factor from 101 to 95. And we're going to add an economic depreciation of 5%. All right, so while we're down Akron, we'll go now to Crawford, which is right here. And Crawford. There's Crawford.
So I mean, that's where their factor stayed the same between the two assessments.
you find it,
No.
I guess I kind of think of the factor as just
I know I
like
got
this,
it in
like,
there.
what's the
Yeah.
setting like? And I do think that their setting, it's like a little bit more industrial. I kind of get why 95, not maybe with the pool, that's why they adjusted it up.
Mr.
But
Miller, y'all is
I feel like you can
On
kind of go.
Hughes?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about how we're
Well, and,
going with the factor on, now, with them, something has changed, which is the,
well, and Hughes, right, I mean, you also got a neighbor right here.
yeah.
You've got some more things in your view shed. I mean, I think we've made the right call with that one, 95.
Okay.
I don't know that.
So with Crawford, we definitely need to do the, well, they've already got, no,
So
they
land-
had it, and then they
land-
took it off. The economic. Oh, no.
They got 6%
Yep,
economic.
Yep.
I don't know
Okay.
what I'm doing, Miss Davis. I'm having a heck of a time here.
That doesn't help.
It's near the end, let me see.
So, what about land value? What you guys think about that? I mean, their view isn't gonna be,
It'd be-
they're gonna have a better view, or not as good a view.
that's
I can tell you
Santula.
that
Okay.
Okay, we
since
go
this
back-
neighbor
go
put that
back.
fence up there,
Uh-huh,
their value that was before this way
yeah.
is gone.
Mills
So their value and their view right now is this way.
And not that great.
Not as great since this fence has gone up.
Right.
The 135 factor, I don't know why it's that high. I don't know why it's that high before.
After Stevenson.
Yeah.
They've done nothing to the house since they bought it.
Old Mills.
Crawford. There you go.
On the market value side,
108 Auckland Road,
I guess it's bigger and,
that's where she lives.
is it basically the same elevation as the
I
660
think-
house?
I think this one right here sold, it was Mark and Brenda Matthews' house for like 8, maybe,
Okay,
in the past 2 years. They got great views looking out.
I'm sure they do.
And they got 2 garages. This garage has an apartment above it.
Okay.
Kevin, they've got 1 garage with his office above it. They do have a swimming pool. And they've got a little shed here with a toilet in it, a ping pong table.
So the land value really hasn't gone up since
No,
2019.
and the land value, it looked like it was consistent with both neighbors,
Yeah. Yeah.
so.
Is this the one where you want to adjust that plumbing figure on?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's a
yeah,
question, why is that
27,000?
27,000?
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
He's got 5.5
I
baths,
don't know if
but
that's a,
I mean, I think,
So
yeah, I mean,
this-
that's the only thing I could, Dan, is it's gotta be some sort of relief, but if
I mean,
there's,
it's-
the other house had 3 bathrooms and was 8,800.
But this one probably got the half out in the bathroom.
the last one, assessment was 12.5.
Right.
That's a little high to me, but
Sure, thank you, Crystal.
This is a big house.
she's probably going to tell us to do what we want.
Exactly.
Is there-
Well, so this house right here, that house, the plumbing is $2,250. This house right here beside it, the plumbing is $13,500. This house plumbing is $27,000.
I wonder,
How many bathrooms?
if that's just
plumbing.
a figure he
Plumbing's
uses
plumbing.
to,
I know.
it's arbitrary as hell.
I know.
That's just crazy.
Sorry.
And I never, ever paid attention to that before. It's the first.
I don't know that it came up last
I
time at
know.
all.
I
I
know.
don't think we've ever seen it, that or attic.
That's
Okay, go home,
crazy.
check your tax card.
I may be coming before this board next time. I'm gonna go back and check mine tonight.
I
Write a letter,
know.
write a letter.
I'll appoint Ella Davis as my
All right.
representative. No quorum, the board can't vote, good lord. I think that's something we gotta.
At least put it back to the old value. At
a
least,
minimum,
at a
yeah,
minimum.
Yeah.
Unless you think that's unreasonable as well.
That's just one of those where, it's if you start, I mean, we gotta know kind of why we're changing it.
Yeah, 'cause
Otherwise,
it's-
why would we just change it on every single one that we went through? Right? I mean,
Other than the
There's
fact
gotta
that
be-
this is noticeably
yeah,
unequitable from
from his neighbors.
the
yeah.
range that we've seen and everything else has been
significantly lower. That's crazy.
How much you want to bet, she says. Do what you want.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Put in any number you
And
want.
then like there's, the heat and AC didn't change from the last
You
one,
bet.
did it?
No, I haven't seen
You
that
make me
change at
mad.
all.
Even though it's different, this was,
Right?
Okay.
the old one was AC and fireplace.
Yes.
And this one,
Yes.
oh, this one is the same thing,
Yep.
AC and fireplace, so that didn't change.
Nope.
Kind of, I thought maybe that was like the number of heat pumps would affect that number, but
It's just funny how the price per square foot of the house is changing, but you notice the price per square foot of the porches or the decks, that's not changing.
yeah. Which I could see where you would change that, because that's all way more expensive. So if you're like putting value on it, that's what, I mean, that, like, I don't know. When you have to like take comps and then instead of just saying, oh, here's 3 houses that are similar, you know, I just always think of it on a price per square foot. And we all understand that the land is like a part of that.
Yeah.
But then when you have to take that and divide it up into all these little parts, instead of just sort of thinking of it as a whole, it gets real. I mean, I could kind of understand why it's a little inconsistent and weird, because they got to make all these little categories add up to what I think, certainly as a realtor, is more simple. You do a more complicated version.
Marlon is checking with Beth on that, she's not quite sure what the answer is. It's already possible.
I changed my bet. I bet Beth's gonna say you can do whatever you want. So Marlon.
Well,
Marlon-
I just asked her if it's like, does one bathroom equal 2,000?
Yeah.
You know, whatever, but she, you know, like, is there a set thing
Right.
or not? I mean,
They will say,
she would.
it's just in the computer system, don't do what you want.
Unless you wait for Beth. It should be
She's
4:30.
checking with Beth.
Yeah.
So
We'll be
would,
here, all right, we got 15 more to go. What's Beth?
All right, so what about the rest of it? What are y'all leaning towards?
I think it's kind of a market value thing, right? I mean, it's,
So they bought it back in the day for $830?
Well, with the neighbors selling for what, say 850 recently? This neighbor's selling for 850 recently.
Okay.
Oh, we was.
She said we can do what we do?
The plumbing. one.
That's what I
I said
heard.
that was the
Do your
problem.
thing.
plumbing.
Yeah, we were gonna ask about
I-
that.
That's just what I heard, so we'll run with that one. Beth said we can do what we want to do.
That one
Or we
just-
can wait 5 minutes for her to get back.
The one you're on sold for would you say 850?
850, 860?
that's a way smaller house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 20,
But it's also newer.
2,400 square foot with apartment above it, bathroom. Actually, they added this apartment too. This is another apartment here.
That's one that sold above the assessed value, right? And then the one on the other side of it sold for under the assessed value.
Yeah, this was the Geyer's old house right here.
Yeah. It's one of those where once you start getting over 3,000 square feet, that price per square foot just really jacks the assessment up a bunch. The new ones for.
But it shouldn't. I mean, if you're building a 2,000 square foot house or a 4,000 square foot house, you're still using the same 2x4 pine, you're still using the same sheet rock, so, I mean.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
price per square foot shouldn't change. What's going to change is the value in the overall square footage.
I mean, the number does come down a little bit, but I don't think the number, once you start getting into those really big houses, I don't
I
think
mean,
the
it went
number
from
comes down.
it went from 78 a square to 171, so that's a $300,000 increase.
Well, that's interesting. This would be kind of an example, right? Like the one that sold for 660 is at 171 a square foot. And this is 900 square feet bigger, and it's also at 171 a square foot. So it seems like that number should come down. That's what he was saying that he did, that every,
Right.
but they're also rated differently on class and condition. It definitely seemed like Jason liked this house a lot.
Yeah.
And that had some
Yeah.
bearing on changes. I mean, the plumbing isn't gonna move things a whole lot. Is it a condition class thing? Is it a depreciation thing? Do you think you could sell it for 1.1 with a pool and a garage? Or does that being tucked back in there and being in the flood zone?
I think you'd be, if you found somebody, that'd be top of the market, in my opinion.
So are we trying to maybe get to close to $1 million? Right, the properties on either side are both assessed around 740,
Right.
but are smaller, either smaller or not as nice. So it's hard to know. They've got a swimming pool. We bring, I could see there being justification for bringing the factor down from the old one because of the Airbnb and the fence going up. There's certainly a factor there that's negatively impacted their,
I don't see where he gets 135 from.
I know, because none of the other neighbors had, it was what, 110 and 125? Is that right?
yeah. They bring the factor down to 125, what does that do for us? Let's read the numbers, go through. It's still a pretty high factor.
I just know that both this neighbor and this neighbor have been real issues with people trespassing with the Airbnbs. There's actually a lawsuit ongoing between these two property owners over the fence and this driveway. It's a nasty little feud. But I know there has been trespassing issues and dogs and stuff. Just throwing it out there for what it's worth with the two Airbnbs right there.
Where is the owner? The owner lives there too?
The owner of this house right here,
Or the one
they
that
live here, they rent this apartment out they just built. And this is just a straight rental.
It just seems so wild, going back before COVID, that little houses like that, people will be buying them and using them as an Airbnb.
Yeah.
That there's people out there in Richmond and DC going, hey,
Yeah.
you gonna go stay down in Akron at a
Right.
random 1,200 square foot
Yeah.
house from 1950?
Yeah.
I guess it's good for somebody.
All right, what do y'all want to do? Y'all want to change factor?
Yep. Let's
To-
change factor. 120, 125?
115, what are we trying to do? Trying to get down close to $1 million?
If you go to 110 on the factor, all the other stuff being the same, it puts you around 1,032,847.
110 per factor.
At 110?
If I did the math right.
I'm sure you did.
Here she comes.
Because didn't you say one of those other,
How on earth did they come up with the plumbing number? We've got one that's at 27,000, and it was at 12,500 before, and some of these other
The
ones.
next door neighbor is $2,200 for plumbing.
We got more bathrooms than most people, but it's
Well,
still,
that's why.
it
Is
still
there
seems.
X amount per
Like it's
bathroom.
not, it doesn't seem linear. It seems like somehow the last
All right,
bathroom
how
was
many bathrooms do they say they
5.
have?
5.5.
All right, let me go adjust mine and see if it comes up with the value that's on there for that, for plumbing. Because that's what determines it, is the number that you have.
Okay.
And there's gotta be something else in there, right? Because this one has, you see something else that says 3.5 baths, and the plumbing is 13,500. Okay, maybe that does seem,
I'll adjust mine to 5.5 and 3.5 and see what happens.
Okay.
That'll tell us what more to have.
So,
But that still doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any
because-
sense, because that other house at 2250, that's only $1,000 per bathroom.
Right.
yeah,
Three bathrooms on the other one,
Well,
it
here's
should be
one that's,
9,000.
here's one that's 2.5 for 6,600.
No, there's
Yeah, that makes
there's gotta
sense.
be
It's
some
kinda
other factor,
arbitrary.
because they're both GB.
Yeah.
There's gotta be
So
something
you're
else.
paying for the
tweaked.
water you use to flush it.
You tax your septic system, you can tax the plus floors too.
You
Lord
got
have mercy.
gold sinks,
Yeah.
gold toilets.
Oh, God, oh, big, ugh.
Yep, I think he just happened to like this house.
A whole lot. I bet what happened, since Mariah was there, I bet she invited him in for some lemonade and some cookies. And made them all happy. And
Yeah, but it didn't sound like she was too happy that he was around there, though.
No, not with his assessment afterwards. All right, well, while she's checking on that, y'all want to do the factor to 110, you want to do anything with depreciations? What do we do for economical on the other one? 5?
we did 5, but I think
Yeah,
this
5,
one's got more. It'd go to 10.
Got 6.
10 for economic?
10, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just because they're right next door to the
Yep.
Airbnbs. We're kind
Okay.
of doing the 5 on the other one for the
Yep.
flood zone
Y'all want to
situation.
change physical or leave that 15?
I mean, a fair amount of, there's not a ton of wear and tear. I think if the house is in pretty good condition.
It's more outside issues, right? I think adding that
For physical
economic to-
depreciation? I think it's more outside, yeah.
Yeah, by taking the economic to 10, you're probably covering,
Okay,
right?
So-
Because the flood and the Airbnb.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then, the only thing we'll wait on for her is the plumbing
Bathrooms.
question.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
There's definitely another factor. It's not just each
Yeah.
bathroom
No,
is
it's
a
not
Gotta be
linear.
something different,
It's not
yeah.
linear.
set amount.
yep.
There's something else he threw in there that,
Randomness.
yep. Yep.
Either that or it's a set amount, but then he adjusted them because when he got invited in for lemonade, he
He goes, oh, I like this one.
used the restroom and, man,
He used the real nice half bathroom they had with gold fixtures. All right, well, we'll set that aside for 2 seconds until Beth comes back, and then let's go on to McLean, 157 Hazard Lane.
Okay.
that's a data here.
Yep. Lots of paper.
Mr. McLean was the
Appraiser.
appraiser, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if it's worth, next time somebody sits down and has a thick stack of paper to say, we're trying to keep this roughly to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we got backed up, everybody sat down.
Okay. My house has 2 bathrooms, and for the plumbing, it's got 2,200 on it. If I change it to 3.5 baths, that increases by the value by $10,000.
Whoa.
if I change it to 5.5 baths, that changes it by 22,100.
I guess the assumption somehow is that the more baths you have, like the nicer the house is, so the plumbing value should, that's crazy.
And that's always been that way.
Okay, so that's something that's in the,
It's built into the value.
so from an
system.
equalization point, everybody with, but right, that does it have anything to do with the class of the?
7-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms.
No bathroom, let's
And
put a
now
hole,
it
Let's go down to
house.
one
let's
pipe.
put a hole in the
That's
floor.
right. That's right.
A 1-bedroom septic.
There you go. There you go.
So the more bathrooms you have,
That's crazy. That's
Well,
crazy.
you have to remember.
So it's exponentially higher after
Yeah,
2
no, it
bathrooms.
goes,
Yeah.
You have to remember now, when that's added into, like in this case, for the plumbing is added in and you get the subtotal, and then you have the factor that's applied to it. So depending on what the factor is, the higher the value is gonna be, and the plumbing is included in that.
I didn't notice on Jack and Francis' house, but they got a lot of bathrooms in that place, don't they? I didn't notice what their plumbing value was. Maybe it's not too unusual.
It's Jack and Jill upstairs for 1, 2, 3, 4.5.
Okay. so
Actually,
not too
it's
crazy.
5, including the guest bedrooms, so it's probably the same for them.
Okay.
So does that help?
Clear as mud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Welcome to my world.
Thank you, Beth. All right, well, so are we good there on Crawford?
So,
Yeah.
factor 110, economic 10,
Until Christmas, yeah.
and I think we're waiting to
Yes.
hear on the bathroom thing.
factors what, they said
Okay.
110?
3570 Crawford?
Back to the 110 economic appreciation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. So we're moving off Akron Road.
Amen.
Let's move up the county to Hazard Lane. Paul McLean, who was the surveyor, the appraiser.
What's the name you're looking for, we looking?
McLean,
McLean,
he was
Okay,
the
that's
1, 2,
Paul?
yes, 4th one down.
okay. Ooh,
And
man, they should-
I know one big thing for him was that attic with the trusses,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
of why he was getting charged
Right.
$15 a square foot.
So he's one of the few to look at land. So that
Yes,
should be
his land
pretty,
did go up. You're right, Neil.
should be pretty easy to potentially
You need to,
go back
look at each side.
to that if his neighbors are all.
All right, so here they are,
You might have to go across the creek.
on the other side.
Yeah. Because I know the Stoddard's house had all that waterfront.
All right, what's that say? 273.5
So that's gotta
across
be
the creek.
Yeah.
pretty close. Did you have his house pulled up on Google Maps?
Yep. Right there.
That's a pretty nice looking piece of property.
I know.
But it's low.
Yeah.
Very low.
lot of area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, what's that road coming down?
Tolls.
Cross Point, yeah.
It's
Yep.
tolls, yeah.
This whole area is just real low.
Yeah, we have to ride in there in a pickup to see if the salt water's across the road before we take equipment.
Yeah, it's all
Into
right here,
that
doesn't it?
field.
It floods all down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out there one day
we worked
and
that
there
field
were
right there at the bottom.
deer
Right here?
crossing,
Yeah.
crossing the creek.
And all that.
That was
is
crazy.
subject, that whole lower end is subject to be underwater at any given time.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It is.
No,
So that
thank
one we just checked was right here?
you.
Let me check a
Yes.
couple of those over there. All right, here's another one. This is 150.
I think they're trying to give him some amount of, again, with whatever he said about how his program assigned a home site value based on home site and proximity to water and stuff. That's got all that shoreline. I think as your shoreline increases. What is the neighboring property? I know they've got a lot of shoreline, but it'd be
Okay,
interesting
zone
to see.
area class B and attic.
What is that? 272.8?
But no improvements? Isn't the,
Yeah, that's where the Stoddard house was.
I guess there must be a little piece of land
Right
here.
here.
Yeah.
How about the Stoddard? Can you look on the next piece over to see what that house is?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, seems like that should have a house on it.
Let's cross the road.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
272.3.
Or 290, 292.3. Those two have got to have pretty similar land values, right? And the one right across the way, the smaller ones. I know he had a chart in here of land values, right?
Yes. He had sales.
Ooh, goodness.
I know, he had a lot of paper.
This was the guy that was talking about this classification got changed at some point, and he didn't understand
Oh.
why.
Waterfront land
No,
sales.
I mean, the old card from 19, it was a B, and it's a B now, but I think he was speaking prior to that at some point. It had been changed.
It went from,
He said it was
yeah,
a
yeah,
C10,
it's a B on both of
but
these.
was it, he spoke of a C10,
He did.
that it was, would that have been from 13? I don't know how. Because I was confused by that, like, I don't have that information, but.
Well, his land value dropped from 18 to 19.
Yeah, it did.
Right, one of the ones that he was looking at is the one just to his south.
Yeah, 50B.
$155.7. Hmm. 24,000.
Yeah, that might be a pretty,
Unbuildable or something.
I think it is.
Well, from the standpoint of the next door neighbor, that's $100,000 difference.
but not to the next neighbor.
Not to the Stoddard side, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, typically we would see that last time, right? Like you'd be going down the road and the value would go up as you get out towards the end.
But this property's got very much water frontage all the way around.
Yeah.
This does too. This lot,
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have the view or
I know. You're looking right across at the other side.
anything those out at the end have.
this lot's literally right up beside it. So it's right in here. So I mean,
I mean, but
I could see this guy's lot being probably closer to the Stoddard's lot than this guy's lot looking right across the cove.
Mhm. What was that other lot again? The one that has the pier directly across?
Right here?
Yeah. Was that 230? No, 270.
277.5.
Okay. 1 acre. acres. 2.2.
I need to pull his stuff out of here because I can't tell.
I know, it's a
Which is-
lot to look at. Where is Oak Point Drive? I'm drawing a blank on that.
Is that big point of land that sold?
22F.
Which one?
Oh, it's got a house on it. What did I'm, 5 Oak Point Drive. Oh, no, it's septic, sorry. I don't know.
It's interesting that it jumped up from 2019 when so many things for land didn't increase.
No.
But it does seem like some other properties that kind of have a similar position on the creek are right there. $727 for a 2,500 square foot house out on Hazard Lane. As we were just talking about, it was AB before. I don't get the 186 a square foot on that one, 2,100 square feet. Sometimes those numbers just jump out at me as being weird.
Well, 28-year-old house. Factor 125. I think we could change the factor, because based on the old one, the factor of 125 was 275.5. And that's 524, 621.
Do you think he made the case that he's a Class C based on the properties that he showed in here that are Class Bs? I mean, we've seen a lot of GCs with properties that we've looked at.
And why we changed the class to C?
You know, he put a bunch of properties in here that he thought had sort of higher end interior, and saying that his is more builder grade. And I think he has a little chart. So that's one question, did he sort of prove his case that he should be a C?
God, just this hardly too many papers here.
Yeah, that's hard.
Wow.
Could have sworn that there was he had a page of different properties
Oh, that's on
and what their
Harbor.
He did, he had it,
ratings were.
yeah.
It's in here.
It's broken down with the class.
Condition, class,
Condition.
building square foot, and factor.
Yeah. But each of those numbers in itself seem to be completely,
Way different.
yeah.
I think from the pictures that he provided, I guess that's a question, did he prove his case that he should be a Class C? In the end, I don't think that makes a massive difference, but
I don't think it makes any difference in the value.
right, it's the, I cannot remember which one we change. Is it
But
worth?
remember, we can do anything we want, according to Beth.
So again, why would we change it to C? Because
Because of the information that he provided and that he believes.
it's not an
Not the
average house,
same.
it's a below average house?
Yep.
Okay. Y'all good with changing it to C?
Just fine with me.
All right.
He did a lot of work for that. To provide
Factors, we
pictures.
want to keep factor 125. Looks like the other factors in here, he's comparing to, there's 95 Hazard Lane, which is an A/B class, so if we're going to a C class now, then we need to be looking at 116.
It tends to be, yeah, more like
115
115 to
factor,
120,
right?
something, yeah.
So that would take you to like a 110 factor potentially.
Well, that'd be lower than all the Class Cs he provided, though.
Okay.
I mean, if we want to stick to what he provided,
Yeah, because the
We'll give him 115.
a C is, a 115 is less than everything he provided for.
Yeah.
And then physical depreciation,
They bumped him up, right? Going from
5%.
20 to 25. So what are we talking about changing the factor to?
115, because we changed it to Class C.
Class C 115, I think that's, and then there was a couple of, remove the attic,
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
remove the boat lift.
remove the attic, move the boat lift. Yep. Everybody good with those changes?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Neil?
Yes.
Okay. 3150A for McLean, change the class from B to C. Remove attic. Change factor from 125 to 115. And remove large boat lift.
Then I had highlighted the building, 186.
He highlighted that.
Oh,
Yeah. Just getting us to compare the differences between that and the tiny house.
okay.
Okay. Mr. McLean is done. Schultzeberger, Flagstaff.
Had all kinds of comments about their name, being Schultzeberger. It's a lot more fun than my name, but we were already running behind at that point, so I just kept my mouth shut. Because of Schultzebergers.
Were they a link of the family tree somewhere?
I don't know, I'm thinking about changing my name to Schultzeberger, though. It's just more, it's just more fun, exactly.
Okey dokey.
All right, yeah.
Oh,
we got here?
Narrow Road. Oh, no, we're Flagstaff.
Flagstaff now. 68 Flagstaff.
This is the one where you
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
change
yeah.
some stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Some stuff has to be moved, or did y'all already do that?
This is one where they had everything on 537 asphalt there, what y'all started digging.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, we had to move a few things.
Schultzeberger, there we go.
It was the 30 by 40 garage, wasn't it, with the lean-to?
It was a 30 by 40 vinyl garage and a lean-to, yep.
That was going to 37F,
We had to move to F, yep.
and then the pier went away? On G?
Yeah, on G, the pier went away, the boat lift went away, the garage is vinyl, and lean-to went to the next property over.
I think I remember when this was
Did that?
for sale. It is a wild little area where it's all turned to marsh and you got land out there, it's kind of like an island.
All right, the factor went up from 1 to 106. Physical depreciation stayed the same. Well, they've done nothing. The house is 25 years old. Nothing, well, the square foot increased from 101 to 184 square, so,
It's not as bad as most people.
no. The factor went up 150,000. So, do we want to look at changing factor down slightly for a 25-year-old home and increase depreciation
Yep, that sounds good.
because it's 5 years old?
Yeah.
115 or?
Yeah, I think that sounds good, because then we're going to change the other ones off that property. Y'all go with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
115?
Yes.
15?
All right, so for 537G, we're going to change the factor from 106 to 100. Physical depreciation from 10% to 15%. Remove pier. Remove boat lift. Remove garage vinyl, 30 by 40. And remove lean-to attached to garage. Which, that was 14 by 40. So that's all the changes on that one. Then 537F, we are adding the garage vinyl 30 by 40. And the lean-to attached to garage 14 by 40. And that's it for those two. Glenn, you want a donut? Want a donut? Chris has been trying to give those away all day, and y'all been complimented twice now by folks. and
I know.
I was glad to hear him include you for sure.
Smooth,
That sandwich I had for lunch was,
pretty filling. That was good, yeah.
He means the
No, I was
sandwiches
pretty
Don
impressed. That was a
made.
good sandwich.
Yeah, Don's. Hey, Crystal, he said he was up till 10 o'clock last night working on those sandwiches.
Making their sandwiches for us.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did.
He said he went and he wanted meat slices and
Yep.
hand sliced all the.
He ain't much in the kitchen.
No, that was deli meat. All right, Stevenson. Oh, wait a minute, was there another? I'm sorry, never mind.
Brain
I
fart.
thought there was another Flagstaff, that was from
No, they're
yesterday.
yesterday, yep.
All right, Stevenson, Lara Road.
Yeah.
These poor people, I swear.
This was a chicken house.
Chicken,
Yeah.
chicken house.
Yeah. And that's something, they couldn't get assistance with a well, or we got no real water there.
Yeah, that is a shame. I wonder if that's
You'd
turned
think there'd be
around.
some type of program that would help somebody with running water. All right, this is 7:14.
I tell that to my daughter, she's taking her 30-minute showers.
Y'all got a deep well.
Yes, we do, thank
Thank
God.
God. All right, so I know we've said we've got to remove the big chicken house in the garage. Anything else stick out? The factor went up on this from 95 to 98. Depreciation went up 5. And they added a 5% economical depreciation for the well.
Then an AC, I mean, taking them at their word, it seems high. Particularly with so the well was the reason for the economic
Yeah, yep.
appreciation.
Do you think the wells, is that an economical or functional?
I would say functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think functional too. But you think 5% is adequate for that?
I
If
mean,
you don't
I guess
have-
it depends. If they got water, then it isn't anything at all, but
By the time
if you're,
they
if you're,
say
if you're
without
trying to go to,
water.
if you gotta go to the
Water.
state park, then it'd be a
I'd give
10
them
or
10.
15 or
Yeah.
10 to 15, yeah.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think, 15?
I'm fine with that.
That's
Yeah, I
good.
don't see why you can't.
I mean, that's a
Go to the
huge
creek
deal.
and wash.
If you're,
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
Yeah.
so we'll get rid of the
That's-
economic depreciation.
I call that a hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do y'all wanna,
I think
Making
a
it-
factor 90 for sure. It seems like it
Nine.
should be,
Okay.
on factor, go back to 90?
yeah, I mean, it was 95 before, but I feel like it's not gotten any better since.
Yeah.
And then how about physical depreciation? We wanna bump that to 55?
Yeah. Is that all right with you, Neil?
Yeah.
Okay.
You good, everybody? Okay.
Do we need to take the deck, the garage, and the chicken house off? That's a deck, does the deck get depreciated by?
The garage and the chicken house are getting removed, yeah.
She said the deck was in bad condition. She doesn't
Oh,
let her
that's right.
grandkids out there.
She sure does. Let's remove the deck then. We're removing the deck too.
Yeah.
All right, Crystal, you ready? Stevenson, 714. We're gonna remove the deck. We're gonna change the factor from 98 to 90. Physical depreciation from 50 to 55. We're gonna add a 15% functional depreciation. Uh-huh. We're gonna get rid of the 5% economical depreciation. Remove garage. And remove the chicken house, which says 36 by 20.
I know he had said something about that economic depreciation may have been because of the basically you have 3 duplexes beside them. It was Section 8 and it was very rough. It has since been purchased and I think is in the process of being refurbished. So I think you're probably right to take that 5% away
there and
for the
put-
economic, because I don't really think that's as much of a driver as
Problem
it
it
was
was.
2-3 years ago.
Wow.
You're
That's
right.
rough.
You're probably right, yeah.
That's rough.
Okay, dokey. Luzio, Jenkins Drive, down there, close to Compass, right?
Yeah, I think it's,
I think that was close to Wilson, wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah, right down there, yeah. What was
See,
there?
now this is one where the square foot for an 1897 square foot house was 154. I don't understand what, maybe because it's a Class C? I'm just not sure what variable. Oh, no, hold on, I'm on the wrong one. Oh, am
Yeah, GC, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, wait a minute. Class change from,
From B to C.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
The factor came way down.
Yep.
Can you take a look on, they said there's on Google Earth maybe?
Yeah.
That's one that doesn't, that their factor came down from 130 to 108. They
What's-
got some
what's the address?
depreciation.
5634, no, sorry.
120
That's their
Jenkins?
mailing address. That's
We're all
not
getting
correct.
punchy in here now.
Oh, man. It's
Seven,
been a long week.
120 Jenkins Drive.
Gotcha.
You get 337 for a 1897 square foot house built in 2019. Pretty close, I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit on the high side.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if you make the factor 100 just because of the, you know, it's not like it's in, again, like she was saying, Hills Quarter or Kilmarnock.
Yep.
That no man's land.
Where is the house? Where is that? Right here?
Right here.
Oh,
Hill's Quarters over to the left, I think. Am I turned around? Nope.
Yeah, there's
In the
Compass up
back.
there.
Compass is right here, right?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I'm turned around.
That's cool they were able to get, they said they were on, that's a change you need to make, right? They said they were on town water and sewer now, right?
Yeah, which
Yes.
I didn't realize that they did that all the way there.
Yeah, I knew they had brought it out to Compass. I didn't realize that,
They had gone up that way.
that was a
Yeah,
whole nother
probably
thing in
because
the
they're
paper
building,
of,
they're gonna build a school up there.
the
That's
school's quite,
further down
Yeah,
that
I
way.
guess
yeah.
so.
And I knew that the plumbing came to Compass. I didn't
That's
realize they had
actually
brought it
pretty
back into that little neighborhood.
Yeah, I didn't either.
The taxes pay for it.
Greentown's on the other side of Irvington Road, right?
Greentown, yes, on
Is that
on the
they-
left side.
Because there was a thing where there was some discrepancy between what the town said, but where the town potentially would annex that in order to bring
What are you talking about?
the sewer and water. But anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with this. But I mean, there's not really a whole lot that can be done from a class price per square foot standpoint. That's one of the lowest ones that I've seen. Depreciation seems about right for a 2019 house, right? Or 2018 house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That brings them down about 20,000 bucks. Is it a 299 fair market value? Just not sure what other level. I feel like to go for a factor under
Under 100.
100
Yeah,
for a
I think-
2018 house would be a little. Out of character. Out of the norm. Well, it's got sewer septic on here, right? Just water.
It's got well septic.
Well septic.
So we gotta change that to sewer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sewer septic. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The public water and sewer.
Yep.
But y'all just want to do that one change of factor from 108 to 100?
I think that's about all you can do.
Yeah,
I mean, the house is 2019, it's a
Yeah.
brand new home.
Yeah,
yep.
It
everything
might
else.
be a little bit higher than market value, but it's in line with everything else. Good, Neil?
It's not too much
Everything else
higher,
is-
but
Okay.
certainly.
All right, Crystal, 2842B. We're going to change the factor from 108 to 100. And under the site, we need to change the water from well to public water. And change the sewer from septic to public. And that's it for that one. Zena Middleton. Where did Zena used to work? Was she here?
She was,
At the health department.
right here, for
She used to answer the phone a lot? Okay, I remember her. Always real sweet, yeah.
Okay.
She used to work over there in the clerk's office.
And we started downstairs.
Mm. Oh,
Oh, she's clerk of the court now down in Newport News. Oh, cool, good for her.
Who is?
Zena Middleton, you remember her? She used to work here, but now she's clerk of the court down in, deputy clerk.
what was her maiden name? Sure. I know a mill. Oh, okay.
All right, let's see, this one is 70 Rose Lane.
Seven, seven. Oh, man.
Is that Whitestone?
Oh, no, seven.
Yeah, Town of Whitestone.
What name you got?
Middleton.
Oh, yeah, I got that. You still working on that?
We're just starting it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we're still working on her.
Still working on it, yep.
Okay, I'm here with. I'm getting ready to turn the page.
Oh, that's right, get my sheets up.
Inside now. Oh.
What are we on?
Zena Middleton.
Middleton.
The factor went up and the physical to depreciation didn't change between the two assessments.
This is the one that went to public sewer, right?
Yeah.
It did, yes. What the, factor, what was it before, Neil?
It was 95 before, now it's 98. And the depreciation didn't change at all. I feel like that 150 mark is, there are some things that have sold for 150 that would not have sold for anywhere close to 150 a few years ago. I kind of feel like once you get below that, the house has to be pretty rough, just because there's not many $150,000 properties out there available, but I could see, since we've done that, to be consistent, kind of go back to the old factor, I don't know. what
95?
about the factor, yeah, and maybe bump the physical
30?
Did you,
up 5%. We've kind of been consistent
95 and 30?
doing that.
Yeah.
add a note for the storage building? Did y'all take
We
that off?
were taking that off.
You already
yeah.
did that, all right, sorry.
Yep, and then correct the,
All right, everybody good with that factor to 95, physical to 30?
And sewer public, but already have water PUB.
Right,
And then the thing with the carport,
yes. So 34A, 342, factor changing from 98 to 95. Physical depreciation from 25 to 30. Under other improvements, remove the storage building, 16 by 20. Under site for sewer, we need to change it from septic to public. And they've got here for garage, a framed one-car carport. You remove that. Uh-huh.
yep.
And move the garage as framed.
What did you say about the garage?
It says garage and it says frame, so there's no garage. No garage, no carport.
Remove garage and closet.
Correct. All right, Mr. Santulli. Lightship Way. This is the landing villas down at Windmill Point. This is one we said we can go side to side, and right, and look at
Oh, right.
adjoinings.
yep. Do we need tax cards on those to see the details, or, right, because it won't show us?
What were we, was his mostly the improvements too? Yeah, land stayed the same, so improvements.
And he said that 27 Lightship just sold in July.
Man, the price of those things, I mean, it's like all these other communities around here where before COVID, there'd always be 2 or 3 things for sale in there, and then now, most of the time, as soon as it comes on the market, things get snapped up. But yeah, I think it's just, this one is equalization, right? These,
Yeah, so y'all want to look at the two beside it, the tax cards for those?
I think so, yeah.
Might as well. 40D-3-22, let's see.
You can grab cards.
So if we can get the cards for 40D, 23, and 24.
Okay.
You want to get the old card and the new card?
What, 2019 and 2024?
We can just do one of each.
Okay.
So for each of those two tax map parcels, just the 19 card and the new card.
All right, so
Yeah, we can just
you
share
said
'em.
23, 24 is that third one?
That's it.
Okay. So do those two. Both 2019.
While they're running that, Howard Jones, he had the lot down Windmill Point that did not perk.
that we said we could take the home site off of that, right?
We can take the home site, we can just say, assign it a value.
Could we just make it all residual at, I think we were,
What if we did that? 4.167.
we just made it residual 4.167 at 9,000 an acre, and that puts it at like $20,000, which is what he paid for it. I don't know if a note needs, was there already a note on here that says no perk yet?
Plus.
There's a big difference in square footage.
On Santulis?
Let those go together. Wow, his is way bigger, is that?
Santui's?
2732 square foot?
What's the tax map number on those she just handed you, David?
On which one?
This is 23.
23?
This is 24 and 24.
So he's the
24 is
end.
the end unit, 23 is the middle unit.
Okay. Okay, yep. My gosh, his is 1,000 square foot bigger, and it kind of looks that way from the. That seems weird, but it really that.
What's
I knew
the
that.
price per square foot?
The new one is 138.42. I don't know if you want to look at them all. I I knew there were some differences in square footage. I didn't know it was 1,000 square feet bigger for
Is this the new one?
one versus the other.
138, 140, 131, so it's all about the same square footage.
What's the most, I always also kind of feel like if you're higher than anything that's sold, what's the most expensive thing that's sold in there?
He said,
Well, 150 factor in 10, 150, 10, 150, 10.
and he said whichever 27 is, that's this one, that just sold July. Doesn't have it on here.
I guess it's July the
40D,
1st,
27.
2010. Is that when he?
He said 27 light ships sold.
Oh,
July.
27 light ship.
Yeah. It doesn't have it here on the card.
You got light whip.
You know what? Wasn't that, was that the one that Chris Parker bought and sold to Mike Chenault?
That name sounds familiar. Was he saying that Chenault and someone else bought it, or he was talking, that sounds
He
familiar,
said
like
it
he was
was
talking
this-
about that.
I think it was off market, but
Vasilate, I don't know how you pronounce her name. Vasilatus. Helen.
let's try 27 light ship.
It is not liking you. No way, no
You gotta
how.
click addresses.
No, that's the last sale on here posted was 21.
I know, and he said it sold in 7 of 23. Neighbor sold 7 of 23, so I don't know. If he was thinking of another one?
They're worth pulling up in the MLS, just 'cause I'm always,
Could it have been another neighbor down there?
Get out of there.
trying to look at the phone. Last one I see is 3/5/22 for 375,
I don't remember one selling down there, but
1960 square feet.
375, 389, 265. Yeah, this is the last one. This was, Charlie's house facing the, marina. These are the older ones too. 83, these are 2007.
okay.
So.
So from an equalization standpoint, it seems okay, but from a,
And nothing for sale down there right now.
yeah, I mean, he's getting hit so hard because he's 1,000 square feet bigger than, do you know him, David? Does that mean, I guess he would have,
George?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he would have said something if the
I-
square footage was wrong.
I sold, well, you see it, it's card. I sold the previous people, Rob and Mary Hoy, that unit for $350. And then 8 years later, sold it to the then I sold it to the, Weednongs for $360. 6 years ago, then 2 years later, sold it to the Santulis. No, square footage is correct.
One thing I would say, in the old tax card, they have 2596, and then they've got 2732. Maybe that would have changed. Yeah, it looks like he remeasured and changed it. Maybe.
Well, I don't think we can change factor of physical depreciation because both the neighbors have the same.
Okay.
I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, I think if we do one, we gotta do all three of them.
I'd be interested to see if any of the other ones are that big, if they're valued similarly. I mean, I guess that's the thing, if it's equal, then,
Here's the other two.
but those are so much smaller, right? That's why their values are like, one's 1,800 and one's 1,500.
1528, 1544.
Because he's 1,000 square foot bigger, he's gonna be 130,000 more than anybody else. And then you take that, and then you gotta multiply the factor.
He's 3 foot wider.
Actually, he's cheaper per square foot by a little bit.
And a little bit longer.
He's 131 and 27 is 138. Not by much, but. He didn't really go up that much. Oh, yes, he did. No, he really didn't.
He did, he really went from 306
Oh, that's right, because I'm
to
looking at two of them.
564, because he
Yeah,
corrected the bathrooms.
Yep.
And it went up even more, so.
yep, that's true.
Value below is not the delta from the 306. So nothing has sold in there for anywhere close to 500,000. But all the ones that have sold are,
Because he wasn't right on the water too.
Right.
That should be
yeah, I mean, I could see where he is being
Upper threes. What if we took the factor on all three of these and put them down to, say, one, I mean, the condo is 17 years old, 110,
Yep.
and took physical appreciation up to maybe 15 or 20?
Do they have the other ones as 2 stories?
Yeah.
Yes,
Are they 2 full stories?
yes. They have full walk-up and then bedrooms upstairs.
That sounds good. 110 and,
And 20?
yeah.
Everybody good with those?
Okay. What you say the factor?
110
110,
and depreciation from 10 to 20?
okay.
Neil, you okay with those?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we might see more of these folks. A broker has a house in Brightwaters, and he was saying that like all of these went up like 68, 70% on the,
All right, Crystal, for Santulli 40D 22, we're gonna take the factor from 150 down to 110, and physical depreciation from 10 to 20. And we're gonna do the same thing for 40D 323. factor from 150 down to 110. Physical depreciation from 10 to 20. Same thing with 40D 324, factor from 150 to 110. And physical depreciation on that one goes from 5 to 20. Okay, Mr. Jones, he had the lot on Windmill Point Road that was unbuildable,
Yep.
no septic.
Did we already change Virginia's?
Yep.
Did we vote on that
We
already?
did, yep. Remember, we took her down
Yep.
to.
I just didn't
think
remember if we
was
talked about
the
it
one
and if we
before.
officially did it or not. I don't want to get sued.
Howard
Just making
Jones,
sure.
Yeah.
he just paid $19,500 for this lot in January.
Can't build
So
on it.
he paid half of what the land was assessed for. So his argument is, all I've got's a pier,
Right.
which he's
It's in bad
exactly
shape.
right.
That's
So,
remove the home site and make
Well,
all
if
4.167.
Yeah, if you did, I think, Neil, you said something earlier about doing all 4.167 at 9,000.
Yep.
And then if you depreciate that at the 60% adjustment they gave it, you're at like 22. Does that,
oh, I see, okay, yeah.
Why do they adjust? What is that?
They adjusted, yeah, the home site 20% and the residual 60%.
Have you seen that anywhere else? I guess they're trying to take into
so then
account that
that
it's.
gives you 22,501.
I think that sounds good. Are y'all okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take it all to residual, 4.167,
At 9 grand.
9,000, but 60% depreciation.
Correct.
And we're gonna leave the improvements the way they are.
Okay.
Everybody good with that? Neil?
Yep.
Okay. Crystal, for Howard Jones, lot 4037, instead of the home site and residual, we're gonna make it all residual, so 4.167 residual at 9,000 an acre, but a 60% depreciation on that. Yes. And everything else stays the same.
It's really, it's adjusts. It's the first thing we've seen with that in there, but it's,
Adjustment for the land?
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's already on the tax card, Crystal, so that's not really a change. Just want to make sure that that adjustment stays.
Get rid of the home site and just make it all.
Make it all residual.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Emery. He had the nice presentation and knows RJ's father and,
He was talking about me, he just didn't
I
know.
know. Yeah.
I get that a lot.
So he had the house that he said was most
Well,
affected by
My
the
dad spit me out, he can't disclaim me because he looks just
place
like
on the
me.
point,
Yep.
A
Mellon
lot
back.
of people get us confused.
I don't know. I mean, that whole,
He's a good man. He's a
I'm
good
not
guy.
sure I agree with that whole
you don't
industrial
wanna
thing. I mean, they
represent
had an oyster
No,
house
not
there
at all.
before.
What we on there?
From what I've heard, and I think he was saying that you
Is that
all,
what
and I know that it's been in
It
here,
was the last one in the book.
is that,
Oh, it
right,
is?
the big
Yes, ma'am.
difference is they've got,
Town
like what he
Creek.
was trying to show is that backhoe,
Right.
because they're loading
Okay.
up stone
We
and
don't.
stuff like that, so
I'm tired.
Yeah. Yep.
Whitechapel, that's a bit.
I,
Right.
I don't understand how, as far as a noise concern, man, unless this fella probably wasn't there when that was an operating
Oyster House.
oyster house or seafood business, but I don't see how it would be any different. Because I know it's been a big stink down there, and I never really understood why, but, oh, and by what I see, they absolutely have. They have done tremendous work down there. Yeah, that's tough, because I
That's Frankie
understand
Davis.
both sides of that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was looking at it, but
I think certainly you look at other properties like Greenvale Marina, you know, something like that, putting a 5% economic
We did give
depreciation
the
on it.
Zetas a 5%, yeah.
You know, it's, whether or not it's,
It's not as drastic as having the one that had the,
Gun range.
I mean, their backyard was the fence to the boatyard. That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a little bit different circumstance to me, as opposed to having to look across the creek at something and hear a backup beeper. I mean, perhaps I'm biased, but if the
No.
guy's down there working and improving the place, I don't see you holding that against them.
Right.
From the water, it looks right nice. We've been out there. I thought it was
Yeah. I think that might be,
So maybe a 5%.
I mean, that's what we gave the Zetas for
Economical
Greenvale. Yeah, I
depreciation.
don't see why you can't do something like that, but.
and that's something that's kind of happened since in 2018, when they were doing all the data, that it was right about that time that it was all happening.
It has,
Yeah.
it's,
I could just see where the old assessment would have picked it up as like as anything, so I could see doing 5% for that. See, the big thing here is, I mean, I don't think that the home site was supposed to be 13,500 in 2019.
yeah.
Which stinks, obviously.
Great.
I guess, yeah, the 2023, which is error from reassessment, was because the land value before was 13.5, they bumped up to 146.3?
I think what they did, I don't know why, but it just seems like there is a zero missing here. If this home site was 135,000 back in 2019, and then you add the 9,000 or the 11,300 to it, you get to the
I got you.
146,300.
Okay.
You mean ask Beth, she probably knows all the time for Beth.
I guess it'd be good to check, just to be sure that, obviously
Might be
his
gone.
point, and I feel bad, his point is that he thought that they had done that
Yeah.
because of the Northern Neck Marine construction.
but it was actually just a typo.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question of whatever this HSC 500, like across multiple properties, only had 13,500. Because like however that database connects and automatically puts in that value based on that.
Yeah, 'cause
Or
we-
if somebody just forgot to put a zero in.
There's been inland lots that have been more expensive than that.
Yeah, I mean, that was not intentional back in
Yeah,
2019.
yeah.
So it's a shock to
Yeah.
have thought you were
Oh, I thought we were getting a little gift.
Yeah.
doing really well and then,
Well, honestly, he has been, right?
yeah.
He's been getting quite a gift.
Just like he's not gonna get a refund for the bulkhead, they're also not gonna go back and collect
Right.
for the 4 or 5 years before they caught it.
So you want to look at the factor and depreciation on this?
Yep.
They went from 100 to 106 and from 10 to 18%.
I could see going back to the 100
Okay.
because of water depth and, I don't know, just that's
House is
something that we've
25
been
years old.
kind of doing.
Well, it is at the end of the line.
So bump the physical up.
I mean, I don't
And the-
know if you would even do that, but I'd certainly see taking the factor back to where it was.
Yeah.
Went from 347 to 517. And it's probably a pretty cool property, 500,000 doesn't seem terribly. He's got no pier, huh?
No pier.
Okay.
Uh-oh, they're fighting.
He did
It's the
pay
end of the
something.
day.
Oh, they're
It's
fighting
Friday.
out
He did pay something.
I think they're fighting. Would you like a donut? Would you like a donut?
No, thank you.
We're trying to get these away all day.
I just ate a piece of chocolate candy, thank you.
Do you think there's a error on this card?
Town Creek,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I
For
know
the,
this, because I was the one that caught it.
okay.
That was a question I had. I was curious.
So
if
it was
the
just a
assessor
zero
caught it.
missing? It was just a zero missing probably?
No, they basically didn't treat it like waterfront.
Ah.
And I don't know exactly how that came to be, but the field chief said that it should have been, if memory serves me right. Anyway, it was a mistake, I corrected it. I mailed him a letter, and then he called me, and I explained it to him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what happened.
Okay.
It was wrong.
We had assumed that. We just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Does Marlon want a donut?
No, because she, would you like for me to just take?
That's going home to Don. That's going to be his breakfast tomorrow morning.
That's all right.
No, we don't, none of us in our office eat such things except for Alexis.
See ya, thank you.
Have a good weekend.
All right.
Do we need to look at any neighboring properties on the home site?
No.
Because he also, he also went, his, yeah, okay.
David,
I'm just kidding, Neil.
I know, I'm with you.
I'm just kidding. Let's see, Town Creek. So we'll look at, right
Yeah, this is
beside.
the one where he
The
was
one right
saying
beside. was there.
1/10 of the acre was buildable or whatever.
Let's use this one. So
What is on this property?
this, he must be joined up with this parcel too.
Is a business on there?
No,
Okay. Because I know it's some.
211.3
Crab house down that way.
for 2.36
I think
acres.
his name
Yeah.
is Thomas, her husband died.
yeah.
I think it's Thomas.
Tom Stevens.
Anything over to
Her
his
last name
left?
is Thomas. She's a nurse.
We'll check back here.
Maybe right across
Oh, you
the
talking
cove.
about,
Over here?
Lewis
Yeah.
Thomas
Yeah.
and Sherry.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's so
Yeah,
nice.
she is. He was a good man.
Yeah.
Land 319. Woo.
5 acres. 2.6 acres for 195.1. $166.7. But that's kind of looking back, actually, that's looking right across at the,
Yeah.
From the, yeah. And then we're out on the open part where it's gonna be hard. And Queenstown's got some,
You're getting a big time money.
well, that's 232. That's on the big open water. Same acreage.
I mean, I don't know if it's being consistent to make his home site 150 or something based off of that.
With these right here?
I can't, those right there are probably pretty much the same, huh?
Yeah.
But remember, we're taking off the finished basement too?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that saves him 15.2 there. The bulkhead's getting removed, it's $2,400. Do we want to look at taking up physical depreciation at all?
I mean, they already brought it up from the last one, unless because of the basement.
I mean, did
Flooding.
you see is there anything for boathouse? Yeah, they gave the bulkhouse 60% depreciation, that's pretty rickety.
Yeah, that was.
Is it low up there?
Probably where he's at,
He's
yeah.
like mud right
it's-
there.
Where he's at, it's probably on the lower side.
What do you all think?
You were moving the factor back, was that right?
From 106 to 100?
Yeah, let's give them some more depreciation.
25-year-old house, want to go from 18 to 25?
Yeah,
Delete
that's
the
fine.
basement, who was it? Delete
Yeah,
the basement
Yeah, we're taking the
and the
finished
bulkhead.
basement. Taking the finished basement part off.
And 25% depreciation.
Appreciation, yep. And then we're adding 5 economic.
Okay.
We good with that?
For the, yeah,
Yep.
cool.
Neil?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
You opposed?
No, I was yawning, I'm sorry.
So we got our first opposition ever in this meeting?
That's right.
Okay. Mr. Emery, 26D13. We're taking the factor from 106 to 100. Physical depreciation from 18% to 25%. We're adding a 5% economical depreciation. Remove the finished basement. And remove bulkhead. Yes. Let's get them out of the way.
Tuesdays, or something, thinking wrong, could be right, but anyway, Tuesday, I think we have time.
To get those caught up, okay.
Okay.
Is the last one 145 probably again,
Yeah, something like
or 2?
that. And I don't think I've got so many in the morning, and I'm not putting it on so much.
Actually, I think it'd be nice if the board would take those home and do homework over the weekend to come back Tuesday with the recommendations ready. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not giving the board homework, good lord.
Or Crystal.
Neil got ready to punch me, he's looking down the head going, you kidding me? Yeah, Neil's like, what?
I can really say, I gotta take it to church.
I don't
I
remember
take it
seeing
to
that in
church
the
too.
job description.
Yeah, take it to Bible school.
Poor Crystal. She's like,
Next-
oh God, I
Crystal's
gotta
like,
go get all
"What?
this
No,
stuff ready.
No,
So we come
no.
back, what, Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It's actually great. That'll give me something to do while I spend 5 hours at a swim meet on
9
Saturday.
o'clock.
Oh,
Oh, man.
ay, ay, ay.
Is it here, out of town?
Hampton. I think Lisa's gonna be going, actually. Gotta show some property.
I would,
Thank you.
Lisa's going to the swim meet?
One of us is taking the kids and one of us is working. Not sure who's gonna do what at this point. Will started doing swim team in September. I'm glad he's doing it. It's cool. He's,
That's cool.
gotten way better at swimming, but there's one swim meet a month, and it is the worst possible thing a parent could sign themselves up for. Because they go, and
It's a
you're there
long
for like,
time.
you're there for like 5 hours, and he's 8, so he only does 25-meter races, and he does like 4 races. Each one of them takes 20 seconds.
Oh,
Did
man.
you wait another hour for your
It's
next
like
heat?
80 seconds of racing for 5 hours, and then when it's in Hampton, it's an hour and a half drive.
Wow.